We're striking for Mount Fuji. We're off to try and take down the god form of Ginsego. We haven't really had an encounter with it. We only know that it's a giant crystalline entity, vaguely reminiscent of the Christmas tree from Star Trek, also known as the Crystalline Entity. It's going to be interesting. We don't know if it's going to be a tough fight or if it's going to be like just a challenge to get to it. Either way, let's have some fun. As the first light of dawn touches the sky, we strike for Mount Fuji for the gold at its peak. Gold at its peak being our silver golden god crystal that's slowly driving everyone berserk. Okay. It lighted on Mount Fuji for some reason. I mean, I don't know why. I figured it would just stay in orbit and drive everyone crazy, but I guess the ground's a little bit more comfy. Winter is fast approaching its zenith. The air is cold enough to feel through my armor and growing colder the higher we go. A pang of longing for the warmth of the earth pulls my gaze downward. For a moment my heart forgets to beat. Far below, half submerged in the gloom, human shapes churn amidst the ruins of a village. The scene is a microcosm of apocalypse, fire and smoke, steel and blood, death, destruction, and nothing else. Has the war spilled over into this province, or has the second sun's descent, like a hammer from the sky, smashed their sanity once and for all? From this altitude, it's difficult to be sure. Only one thing is certain: people are dying. And suddenly I spy an open space amidst the carnage. A child stands there by some miracle unharmed. But whatever act of providence birthed this lull will not last. Any moment now the battle will swallow him. The child looks up, hope shines from his face. He's seen me, the Musha, soaring high above. He believes I can save him. He's right, I could save him. I could swoop down like a guardian angel and pluck him from the jaws of despair. A simple feat. All I need is the will. The will to become a part of the chaos and risk losing my chance to end it at the root. If I make that choice, the child will live. I fly on. It's done. The child will die by my choice, the same as if I killed him myself. The miracle ends, and I watch as fire and steel descend, ripping, tearing, and grinding into paste. I see his despair and taste his hate. I sear his final moments into the deep layers of my brain. One more victim to add to the tally. The weight is no less for the number. If you know you had to go to Fuji, surely you could have rested there literally. Yo, hostile contacts? Why are we flying at an angle? Maybe because we're turning?
Nani? Kazo.
Contacts? How many? Wait. Over 100. A full regiment? Muramasa called them hostile. They must already be on an attack vector. Their numbers, their position, their naked animal aggression, I can only think of one force they could be. A full regiment of those Pew Pew boys? 100 copies of the Zappy boys. That is not something you'd want to deal with. Okay, so first step, getting to the mountain. Gonna be a challenge, I think. Did the gods summon them? Or were they merely drawn to it like ants to their queen? Whatever the case, they couldn't have picked a worse time to appear. I'll just have to get past them to reach Mount Fuji. We're in something of a hurry, so long-range microwave lasers that will one-shot you. Good luck. I don't think they care. Fine, all we gotta do is surpass the actual Ginsego and beat these lame imitations. The situation looks grim. How indeed. I may be immune to their mind warping of waves, but that's little comfort. Yeah, that's a lot of enemies, all with ranged weapons that can probably shoot you the minute you're in line of sight. You're more than a speck on their horizon, they can shoot you. The former type 00s are swift and agile, a trait they inherited from their mother, and armed with weapons that can down dragoons at range. Alone, either factor would have made them a threat. Together, they make a force to be reckoned with, a force I must face in regimental strength. The enemy appears wholly uncoordinated, but what need have they for clever tactics when their numbers can blot out the sky? They'll be waiting everywhere I turn, and surviving this ordeal may prove more challenging than any of my encounters with Ginsego. How to proceed? Do I dive headfirst into the rain of fire where even a single mistake will kill me, or... What else are you gonna do?
Muramasa.
Muramasa? Yeah?
振り切るぞ。
We'll show them our back.
了解。
Got it. Analyzing the enemy's field of fire leaves me with one choice: to dive. That was insanely loud, but it definitely got the gave us the right impression of like 50 people shooting microwave lasers straight at us. So diving. The air beats against me as the ground approaches rapidly. The laws of physics sound a desperate alarm in my head, demanding I pull up or be dashed to pieces against the earth. But that way lies death under Silver Gun's physics will have to wait.
招き集わせ。
I
食べる。
find the field.
グラビトンコントロール。
Graviton control, we kept it. Okay. So loud.
よし、扱いきれるな。重力飛行。
Right? It's so loud. I mean, they ramped up the... I haven't changed the volume on this system in a while. That's actually just how loud it is. Yeah, nothing's changed. The volume settings are the same. Good, now gravity's on our side.
金星号にも引きを取らない程度にはね。
I bet we'll give Yinseigo a run for their money. The return of Muramasa's Nodachi has dramatically improved her capabilities, and nowhere is this more apparent than with regard to her control over gravity. Wait, so having the Nodachi gave us more superpowers? Really? I mean, I knew it was giving us pieces of the gravity control, because it was Ginseigo's alteration of them, but I thought we, like, kind of cut that out, and we'll be using more pure magnetism, instead of just using Ginseigo's power that she gifted us. Alright. Before it was only a trick to boost our speed, now it boasts a variety of applications, including maneuvers to match Ginseigo's.
これならば、この群れが相手でも負けはしない。
Can we keep them at
も
bay?
ちろん。
Of course. Fire rains down from all directions, the swarm seeking to bury us beneath weight of numbers, but our transcendent speed plucks us from danger again and again. Never once do I feel the burn of Dragon's breath, and only the margin of error grows only wider as we familiarize ourselves with our newfound power. Not enough to shake them completely, and I won't want them at my back when I face my true enemy. How do I neutralize this threat? Knock them from the sky one by one? Nah. They have an overwhelming numerical advantage. I'll run out of energy first. It seems the only option is to draw them away from Fuji, but how?
見ろ。
Mito?
上か。
I see him. 3 hostiles approach from above. I turn my attention to this new threat. Not that there's any real danger. With gravity obeying our whims, we can ignore any difference in altitude. We'll obey their first pass with our superior maneuverability, and then dispatch them at our leisure. What?
何？
They're keeping up?
気をつけて。こいつら他のとは桁が違う。
Watch out, they're not like the others! It looks like...
背面に被弾。早々警備。
Light damage to dorsal armor? I took a hit? Impossible. Or it should have been. My speed transcends the laws of nature. I may have let the power go to my head, but even taking that into account, no common Musha should have been able to catch me. 3 copies of Ginseigo? Oh no. 8 Musha have appeared before us. 8 silver devils dancing to their own maddening beat. Oh, that's not good. 8 more copies of Ginseigo to be sure, but that clearly isn't all they are.
ただの複製じゃない。この覇気は親に匹敵する力を持ってる。
These 8 are different. They have power to rival their mothers. Okay, good luck. 8 copies of something you haven't beaten before.
なぜだ？
How is that possible?
多分何か特別な作られ方をしたのよ。私の力を混ぜた卵に寄生された武者は以前の寄生体より強かったでしょ。
They must have done something when they were made them. Like how adding my power to the last batch of eggs made the infected stronger.
それと同じように。
I'm not sure what they did this time, but... These 8 are some kind of elite copy. Okay, that's the last thing we needed.
遊ぶ？
Play with me.
踊る？
Dance with me.
犯す？
Feast with me.
殺す？
Kill with me. Looks like we're surrounded.
それとも死ぬ？
Or maybe die with me? We have our weapon drawn? We do. We do have our weapon. Is it in our hands? No, our weapon's just on our back. Okay. Over the shoulder or something like that? Alright. These moves, these techniques, they're using Yoshino Onryu. Hikaru's Yoshino Onryu.
お前たちは
What are you?
私
Oh, me?
私
Huh?
私はね
Well, where?
ファイヤーボーン
Firebone!
スターホーン
Yarhorn!
キャッツクロ
Okay.
ーテイルバイタ
Is this just a squad of cat girls?
ースカルペル
Scalpel! Wait, that's the odd one out.
シンギングデス
You're out too! What are you doing?
ストームブリンガー
They got edgier. They started with like Maho Shoujo names, and now it's like Stormbringer, Singing Death. They could have been B movie. They could have been like chief villain of the week group, and now they're like slightly edgier. All right. I'm not gonna remember those names.
This is the end.
I am the end of all things. What? The Edgelord. All right. And then it comes to me, these aren't copies. They're pieces of Kinsego, pieces of Hikaru. She tore them from herself and gave them flesh and steel. This explains why they're so much closer to the original, why they share her power, skill, and speed. Pursuers, 7 o'clock. And now the swarm opens fire from the rear, threatening to crush us against these mighty 8. Regardless of whether or not it was planned, this tactic is damnably effective. The enemy can match my capabilities, and the numerical advantage becomes decisive. But we are able to land like blows on at least 3 of those elite copies. That's how they got bashed away, right? Disaster looms, the failure of my mission. I haven't even reached my true enemy. Well, we don't know if it will be an easy kill. It might just be fly by Magat's the end, right? The mountain's still in the
そ
distance.
の最後は
Will I die here? Probably not. You might die at the end of the mission, though. My duty unfulfilled? No. I won't allow it. If I can just break through. It's so loud. Behind us. What? The enemies chomping at our tail fell just before they could strike, but who shot them down? I know those arrows.
村正
Ah, okay. Arrows. That tells us exactly who it is. Otori?
大鳥かなえよ
Yep, it's Otori Kanai.
大尉だと
Captain Otori.
え
Look over there. It's burrows. Behind and above the swarm, a knight wielding a mighty bow like Sagittarius of legend. And that armor? Is it Orichalcum? The distinctive shine of that metal sets it apart from the silver copies below.
お久しぶり影明様
Nice to see you again, darling. Magically, she shows up. As cool as the scene is, how did she know to get here? Or where we were going? She just randomly decided to take a flight? I wonder how many arrows she actually has in that bow. Like, obviously she got one knock there, you can see it, but how many does she actually have? Like, is there like an entire magazine? Is there like a massive magazine or rack for these? So she could it's just the reload time? Or does she only have like 2 or 3, I wonder? Because you'd think you could probably fit like 5 or 10 of those arrows easily behind, oh sorry, bolts, behind like the shield or something.
大鳥大尉
Captain, is it really you?
本当にあなたでしたか
こんな美女がこの世に2人といるとお思いですの
You know any other women this beautiful?
顔見えないから
You know we can't see your face, right?
大義のクルセイダーで割られたとはつゆ知らず。
I had no idea you were a
な
crusader.
ぜ剣をお持ちなのです。
How'd you come by that tsurugi?
それは
Well, yeah.
乙女の秘密です。
Would you believe I used my feminine wiles?
そうですか。
Yes.
流され
Was I wrong to for more of a reaction?
た。それよりもあなた、どうしてこんなところにいるの？偶然にしてはあんまりできすぎよ。
Yeah, what are you doing here? It can't be a coincidence. We haven't had setup for this. An excellent point. One doesn't simply find themselves on a battlefield like this
お
one.
二人だって気まぐれでここにいらっしゃるわけではないでしょ。
Well, why are you two here? Not to enjoy the view, I'm sure.
理由は同じってこ
So our goals are the
と。
same.
お空の太陽が2つに増えた途端、世界がおかしくなり始めた。まともな頭と多少の余裕さえあれば、そこに因果関係があることくらい想像
I
で
mean,
き
a
ます。
second sun appears in the sky, the world descends into chaos. It doesn't take a genius to make the connection, only a little space to breathe. So she's headed for Fuji.
あの方も同じではありませんかしら。
Something tells me she'll say the same.
あの方。
ほら、あ
Oh,
ちら
look
の
there, it's Missy
一
Ichijo
条
Ayane.
あやめさん。
I mean, they are technically in the area. I guess they could decide to do it. I mean, if Kaguya... I don't remember if we... It's been like a couple days, so I don't remember if we told Kageyaki Sr. that we were off to Mount Fuji. But maybe he set them on a mission for that? Who knows?
あやめ一条だ。
Joe, you forgot? A second Musha barrels onto the battlefield, smashing aside a squad of copies who are about to open fire. These copies don't seem to have radar, because none of our... Because Ichijo doesn't have radar suppression. I've seen that Tsurugi before, though I was under Kinseigo's influence at the time. I still retain those memories. Deep blue, shining with ancient majesty. It's the same Tsurugi that Ichijo summoned at Kenshoji. So she's here too.
あら、私としたことがうっかりミス。ごめんなさいね、あやめちゃん。
Forgive me, won't you, little Miss Ichijo?
なんで名字にちゃん付けするんだよ。
No,
あなた、
you're here to
私
help
た
me.
ちを助けるの？
Interesting. The shape of the wings is interesting for Burrows and Masamune. We know the shape of like the wings for Muramasa, who's off in the distance. Like, I'm just turning off the text because I'm curious. But a side shot of Masamune in flight. I like it. I like his wing design. I don't know about the random hoop he has above his head between his shoulder blades. That seems a bit odd, but otherwise we're looking good. Right, yeah, that seems good. Okay. Well, let's see. 3 versus 108-ish. Good luck. But plot armor. Muramasa seems surprised, and not so much by Ichijo's presence, as the thought that she would take our side.
勘違いするなよ。そんなつもり、さらさらね。
Don't get the wrong idea. I'm not here to save you or anything like
ど
that.
ういうこと？
Then why are you here? Simple.
一言で言ってやろうか。貴様を倒すのはこの俺だ。
I'm the only one allowed to defeat you.
は？違うよ。いや、
Maybe not
大
wrong,
体
but
そう
still.
だけど。
一条。
Ichijo?
港さん、あなたには聞きたいこと、確かめたいことがあるんです。
There's something I need to ask you, something I need to know.
だからまだ死んでもらっては困ります。
Can't let you die before I get my answer. You know what I'm talking about, don't
私の
you?
言いたいこと、もうわかるんじゃないですか。港さん。
Sir,
貴様を倒すのはこの俺だ。
I'm the only one allowed to defeat you.
しつこい。黙れ、恥ずかしい。
Stop that, it's fucking embarrassing.
一条。
Yeah,
で
later,
すから、後で。
after it's over.
熱血展開も結構ですが、そろそろ差し迫っている現実に向き合いませんこと？
If the two of you are done with your manly bonding ritual, perhaps we could deal with the problem at hand.
分かってる。あと、熱血してたのはてめえ一人だからな。
Hey, you're the one who was making it weird. True. Otori was making it as weird as possible. That makes 3.
3
3 times
倍
more.
遊べる
3 times the fun. Naturally, the 8 are undaunted, and they charge like a pack of ravenous hyena racing to the kill. They'll be on us in a matter of moments.
どうしたものでしょうね。あのピカピカ眩しい団体さんはやる気満々。
This is a pickle. These ladies seem awfully eager to play.
でもこちらとしては一刻も早く富士山へたどり着きたい。
We need to get to Fuji as quickly as
まあ
possible.
な、どう見たって本
Ooh,
命はあ
that's
っ
where
ち
the
だ。
real action is.
策があるの？
Got a
こ
plan.
とを割り切れば方針は2つのうちどちらかです。戦力を集中するか分けるか。
Okay, we get down to it. We have 2 choices. Either concentrate our forces or divide them.
どっちがいい？
Which is better?
妥当な道を取るなら集中でしょうね。私たちの力を合わせてこの大軍を撃破。しかる後、富士山の上のお日様もどきも粉砕する。
We've been asked so many small questions recently that I feel like we've been asked several small questions recently, so I keep thinking that these questions are ones I'm gonna have to answer because we have to answer questions in a whole bunch of fights, right? Like the fight against the Rainbow Demon. Furugi, we had like 20 questions in. So when they're like, should we split up or stick together? I'm thinking I'm gonna have to get a prompt, but there's no prompt. It's just prudence would dictate the former. We combine our strength to overcome the demonic armies and shatter their god upon the peak of Mount Fuji. Nice and easy.
世界は平和を取り戻し、私たちは伝説となり、肩を組んで笑いながら、美しい朝日をいつまでも眺め。
Yeah, we'll restore peace, we'll be greeted as heroes, then we join hands to gaze off into the sunset.
いつまでも？
Forever?
そのうちフェードアウトして缶の文字が出ますから、それまでで結構です。
Not to worry, dear, only until the credits roll.
出ねえよ。まあ、そう言われると簡単そうに聞こえるけど、
Guess that could work.
実は無理だろ。
For anyone else.
無理があるな。
無理だと思う。
Yeah, anyone but us.
なぜ？この方針なら勝敗はこちら3機の団結力次第。鋼の友情と絆を誇る私たちにはうってつけの作戦ですのに。
Weren't we like unable to escape from how fast these guys were? Anyway. What? Why? We have like, everything we need. Trust, camaraderie, a common cause. Nothing can defeat the bonds we share.
強引な冗談は疲れます。
Forcing that joke took a...
聞く方もな。
Yeah, imagine how it feels on the receiving end. That was pretty cringe.
というわけで、江ノ島でほぼ実情が露呈している私たちの結束に勝負を託すなんて、ちゃんちゃらおかしいっていうか、へそで茶が湧きますから、ここは現実的に考えましょう。
Yeah, well, as we demonstrated so effectively on Enoshima, it's foolish to expect us to work together. In fact, I'd go so far as to call the idea preposterous.
戦力を分ける。
So we'll divide our forces.
ええ。
Yep. The plan itself needs no discussion. We split into 2 groups. One to keep the enemies occupied, the other deals with the god on Mount Fuji. The question is who performs which task.
分かったら、お行きなさいませ、神明
Sense
様。
go, darling.
はい。
私も一条さんも、物を見る目と状況を判断する頭は持ってましたよ。
Oh, we're smarter than you
富士
think.
山頂で待つ者と戦うにふさわしいのは誰なのか。
We know who among us is best equipped to defeat that monster.
ね、
Don't we?
ここに銀星号の複製が群れをなしているということは、山頂のあれはその親玉。影明様が長いこと追ってこられた相
It seems safe to assume your true enemy's up there.
手。違いまして。
Or am I wrong? Nah, she's right. Hikaru's up there, and that makes the fight my duty. I'll not cede it to anyone. But to admit that here is to leave those 2 behind to fight against hopeless odds.
港さん、気が進まないなら。
Oh, well, I can do it if you don't want to.
ミド、
Risky either way.
どちらでも同じよ。い
If anything, that monster up there is
え、山
probably
頂のあれと戦わせる方が。
the greater danger, yep. The swarm is a known quantity, however deadly the threat they present, at least we can see it coming. The second sun, however, is a mystery and there's no telling what it can do. It's safer for the captain and Ichigo to remain. Besides, I'm not their guardian. They can take care of themselves and would no doubt resent any implication to the contrary. There's no reason to not to leave them behind. And yet, at a level beyond reason, I can't help but feel that I'd be abandoning them. $2 million for one card? Damn, alright.
勇気もす
Keep them off me.
Hi.
Will do.
お早く。
Quickly now. And that's how we say our farewells, with a word, a nod, a flick of the hand. Perhaps that's all we meant to each other. Part of me still wants to stay here. Here they're facing near certain death. The swarm is far too large to defeat. But no, I must leave them to that fate, just as I did the child in the village and many others before him. I told myself it was necessary that their deaths would serve the greater good. I can do no less now. Oh, rear angle shots. Nice. We don't get many of those two. So we get an idea of what the back of their tsurugi looks like. In flight. Okay, cool. Thank you. Considering we didn't actually have a long shot of those ever. I don't even know if we had one of those in this yet. Kinda cool. There's nothing more to say, especially because like the viewer only rotates you a standing position 360, so you can't actually see the angle you want or the pose you want. Or like the model viewer they have at the main menu. There's nothing more to say, no words of gratitude or regret that would be worth the air I'd expend. Onwards then to Fuji.
無駄ですこと。
Oh my, what a troublesome man.
あれが港さんだ。
That's just who he is.
もう少し気楽に生きればよろしいのにね。
I mean, he could stand to loosen up a little.
かもな。
Yep.
いっちゃういっちゃう。
I think the 3D models for the faces look kind of bad. Gotta say, of all the 3D models, the Ginsego copies with the face look kind of bad. Because they look very plasticky. Oh well. Oh no.
逃がさない。
He's getting no
追いかける。捕まえる。
free.
うるせえ。相手は私だ。
You want a piece of him?
一気も通さねえよ。
You're going through me?
邪魔。
Are they?
邪魔。
They are?
どうしよう。どうする？
Do we
こうする？
do that? Yeah,
そうしよ
that.
う。焼き焦がす。
Burn them to ash.
貫く。
Fill them with holes.
引き裂く。
Rip them to shreds.
ちぎる。
Tear them to bits.
剥ぎ取る。
Flay them alive.
眠れ。
Sing them to sleep. Wait, that's not so bad.
吹き飛べ。
Blow them away. Okay, we're back to violence.
私が決める。私が定める。生と死を分かち、狭間に
Alright,
立
and the one edgy one. Now, you like the leader, I swear. You can't tell if you're the edgy one or the leader. You're like, I'm destiny, I'm fate, I'm the border between life and
つ。
death.
This is the end.
The end of all things. It's actually modeled differently, right?
もしかしたらこの
The other
ハ
ones
ッ
have
キ
giant
ーや
yellow
ばい
bits
んじゃ
on
な
their
いか
head.
なとか思ってましたよ。
The other ones have giant green orbs on their head, and that one has like a different face. Has a different face. That's interesting. Now I know it's a little late for second thoughts, but I'm getting the impression these 8 mean business. Good luck.
特に最後のやつな。なんかあいつ、江ノ島で見た銀星号と同じか。
Especially that last one.
下手すると、それ以上って気がする。
I get the feeling it's as strong as Ginsego, maybe even stronger, at least going by what I saw on Enoshima.
どうしましょうね。
Here, what do we do?
どうもこうもあるか。
What do you think?
私と政宗で食ってやる。
Fuck them up!
まあ素敵。恐怖とか感じられない心の病気の人ってこんなにも頼もしいものなんですよね。
So fearless. It's rather nice having a berserker on my side.
言ってろよ。怖いなら帰れ。
Run away if you're scared. No skin off my nose.
いいえ、私恐怖のあまり失禁しそうになりながら戦うのって割と趣味ですから。
Actually happen to quite enjoy the terror. Nothing quite like the feel of urine dribbling down your leg.
てめえが病気だな。
And you're calling me crazy? Far behind us, the battle's begun. The clash of energies trembles the air, vibrating through my metal skin. I feed power into my engine. No looking back. Fuji, time to see what I'm facing. I circle higher, seeking a vantage point. And there I behold my enemy. Golden. Golden! A crystal forest. Start by using magnetism to see if you can blow off one of the limbs? An apt description. These glittering, gnarled pillars do indeed resemble trees of a somewhat alien vintage. I'm reminded more of a shipyard from the age of sail, a fleet of new-fashioned masts awaiting for hulls to seat them. No matter, trees or masts, forest or shipyard, these metaphors are merely derived from its shape. After a moment, I begin to realize what it truly is. A factory. It could be an abstract factory, okay. A low rumble permeates the air like a bear growling in the depths of its cave. Or rock crushers grinding at a distant marble quarry. Yeah, it is pretty loud. Before my eyes, the forest is shifting, branches grow, forking again and again, reaching out to their neighbors. Where they meet, nodules of light flow from tree to tree. They're feeding each other, perhaps passing each other information. Meanwhile, other branches furl and contract, returning to the hold that spawned them, only to extend once more in an endless cycle. Pistons, pipes, that's what they are. The exposed workings of some great machine. Insego is nowhere in sight. So that's a god. Muramasa, what is it?
Muramasa, どうした?
あれは本当に神なのかもしれない。
I think it might really be a god.
私たちの
Or god.
根人だと思うのか?
You mean the Konjin?
あれを
The god of metal worshipped by Amishi across Yamato?
うん。信じたくなかったけど。
I didn't want to believe it, or believe
ちゃちゃ
her.
丸の言ってたことだし。でも
Now that I've seen it with my own eyes.
わかるのよ。
Tsurugi Smiths.
私たちの
That's where we all come
私
from.
たちの
I recall Chachimaru's, or rather Wolf's hypothesis. Okay. Long before man's ancestors walked upright, a creature of living metal came to Earth from the stars, and for millions of years it lay deep underground, spreading pieces of itself through subterranean waterways. Some reached the surface, where they collect in mountain pools and caverns, waiting for a smith to give them life in the form of a Tsurugi. If the professor's theory was correct, Tsurugi are indeed the children of this god. That was a quick summary, thank you.
ほんの小さな砂の一粒よりも小さな一かけらが新金を生む。
I was expecting like the entire like short research paper to be recited. Convenient that they only did like 2 lines. My Shingane was born from a piece of that thing, a tiny piece, no more than a speck.
剣の力の根源になる。
That speck is the source of my power.
それはつまりこういう意味か?
You're saying is
あれは無数の剣の集合体に等しい。
that thing has the power of millions of Tsurugi?
すなわち幾千倍。
幾億。幾兆。
That might be a conservative estimate.
とても計算なんて無理。
There's just no way to measure.
とにかく剣と同質の力を剣とは比較にもならない規模で保有しているということよ。
All I can say for sure is that thing is orders of magnitude stronger than any Tsurugi we've ever faced.
計算上
We stand a
対
chance.
抗
We
は
don't
可
know
能
if it's
か?
weaponized. It might just be have defenders and that's it.
こんな時のために昔の人が残してくれたことわざがあるんだけど。
In my day we had a saying, care to hear? Is it do or do not, there is no try?
おう。
触らぬ神にたたりな
Ah, let
し。
sleeping gods lie.
本当にそうだな。
Wise words. I wish we could obey them.
しかし汚染波の発信源はあれなのだろう。
But is that thing the source of the chaos?
肯定。
Affirmative.
あれを破壊せねば
The
汚
world
染
ends
波は
unless
止められないのだろう。
we destroy it?
肯定。
Yep.
選択の余地はないな。
And there's only one thing to do.
肯定。
Affirmative!
ならば行く。 もとよりたたられて困る身でもない。
So be it. It's much too late to curry favor with God.
了解。一つ派手に罰当たりな真似をしましょう。
Make this one for Devil's to envy. Though for a supposedly wrathful god, the Kanjin seems awfully passive. It's done nothing to hinder our approach. Perhaps it doesn't see us, or it doesn't see anything. If this god is merely a mass of energy with no ability to recognize or react to the world, we have nothing to fear. It will take time and effort to whittle it down, I'm sure, but as long as we're careful and persistent, the task should prevent no significant challenge.
まずは全容を確認する。村正、右手から回れ。
We'll ascend from the right.
了解。
Got it. That voice again, the infernal howling Shachimaru inflicted on us at the castle. Only this time stronger, straight from the source. It's too much. Ooh, half our energy just got sucked out. Oh, back online, back online.
ミド、しっかり。
Snap out of it, snap out of it.
村正、
Muramasa. Something yanks me from the brink of oblivion. The abrupt change brings a wave of nausea. But as my head clears, I realize the screaming is distant now.
何をした？
What did she do?
音波を拡散させただけよ。チャチャマルの術と違って思考性が強くなかったからなんとかできた。
I managed to diffuse the signal. It wasn't focused on us, like when Chachimaru did it.
多分だけど、今のは単なる反応なんじゃない？
I'm guessing, but maybe it was some kind of reflex there?
反応？
Reflex?
急に何か嬉しいことがあったら歓声を上げるし、いきなり冷たい水をかけられたら悲鳴を上げるでしょ。
Like how you shout when something excites you, or when someone douses you with cold water. So she's saying it wasn't a conscious reaction, okay, but what triggered it then? Our approach? That means it knows we're here. And if it knows we're here, it can see us. Look out! Oh shit! That's a big beam. Looks like it won't be the easiest thing in the world to just hack to pieces. Yup, I narrowly avoided that one, I think. I try to speak, but my mouth refuses to obey. A quick inspection reveals that my lower jaw has mysteriously come loose. I return it to the neutral position and attempt to make a second
村正、
comment. Muramasa?
何？
Yeah.
これは
Correct me if I'm
個
wrong
人
here.
的な推測に過ぎないのだが、
I take a moment to gather my thoughts.
今のビームがもしも直撃していたら、
Would that beam have
俺の
had a
健康
negative
に著しい
impact?
悪影響を及ぼしたのでは。
That beam had a negative impact on my health?
及ばずに決まってるでしょ。あんなの食らったら小指の爪の先っぽなんて残るもんですか。
Of course it would. Are you crazy? There wouldn't be enough of us left to fill a thimble. Why is she
あ
shouting?
れは新規の激流、川みたいなものよ。飲まれたら最後粉々になってその粉もすりつぶされて跡形もなくなる。
The beam was pure gravity, a torrent of shifting fields. If it had caught us, we'd have been ripped to shreds. Those shreds smashed to dust, and that dust ground into nothing.
こちらの操る神器、
Can we
あるい
cancel
は
it
時
out
期によって防御できるか。
with one of our own fields?
焼け石に水滴程度ならね。
It'd be like spitting into a typhoon. Okay, as expected, we'll have to evade those beams, assuming more will come. But still, that power. Graviton control?
あれは銀星網の技能か。
That Kinsego's power? Possibly turned up to 11?
そうね。神器を操るのは
Gravity control is
カカ様
Mother's
の固有
specialty.
能力。
やはりあの神は銀星号だということか。
The god is Kinsego.
汚染波も出ているんだし、あそこにいるのは間違いないと思うけれど。
Something has to be emitting the song. But that
さ
scream
っきの
just
声
now,
にカカ様の気配は匂わなかった。
it didn't feel like her.
あなたはどう？
How'd it sound to you?
そうだ。
You're right.
俺も光の声だとは思わなかった。
That wasn't Hikaru's voice. In fact, I sense no intelligence in the creature at all, or at least nothing I could recognize as such. If it is thinking, it's not as we do with words. Perhaps its mind is too great for a puny ape to comprehend. I mean, maybe the screaming is its voice. You just can't understand it. Whatever the case, there's nothing human about it.
取り込まれたのかしら。
You think they're gone?
捕食されて、消化されて、
Maybe the monster consumed them?
技能だけ
Maybe
利
their
用され
power
ている。
is all that's left?
仮に
Even if it's true,
そうだとしても、
change is nothing. still gotta fight it, right? Yeah.
こちらを攻撃対象として認識しているのは間違いないようだ。
I think we can safely say we're its target.
みたい。敵意があるのか、食欲のためなのか、単に鬱陶しがっているだけなのかは知らないけど。
Does it see us as a threat, an annoyance, or merely its next meal? Whatever the case, we can expect those beams to remain a threat for as long as we're engaged, and of course breaking off isn't really an option. Fortunately, they're relatively simple to evade. The god's aim is far too honest. It's making no attempt to predict our evasive maneuvers, and thanks to the visible buildup of energy that precedes every shot, we know exactly when it will fire. I could dodge them in my sleep. I mean, they'll also one-shot you, and you shouldn't assume it won't learn, just that it isn't very good at aiming now. I'd want to hurry up. Even so, best to stay on my toes. I'm already keeping conservative, some might say cowardly, distance from the beams. And in the wake of their passage is still enough to rattle my skull. I have no doubt a direct hit would end precisely as Muramasa described. Even a glancing blow would likely spell our doom. The longer this goes on, the greater chance I slip up. We need to end this fast. Exactly. Clean hit, not that there's much chance of missing a target so large. The god howls as my Nodachi severs a dozen branches. It's working, we can hurt it. Pull back. Pull back! What was that? A lot of Daka!
狙いもつけず、全身から新規の波を放ったのよ。こんなゲームあるのね。
Another gravity
範囲を
wave.
絞らない分、威力は散ったみたいだけれど。
Only this time it fired in all directions at once. I wasn't expecting that. Fortunately, it widened the area seems to reduce the effect.
至近距離で浴びたら、
I still wouldn't want to catch it up close.
深追いは禁物ということだな。
Leaves us with one course. Hit and run, get close, deal a blow, pull back before the gravity pulse smears us across the sky. Or get really lucky and sever one of those big branches. It looks like, honestly, it looks like, apart from some small branches, there's like maybe 8 main pieces that are like attached to each point. Or how many would that be? Would that be like, it'd be 6, right? 6 main trunks attached to a central object with then some extra leaves. Like, you could probably cut one of those big pieces off all at once. See if that does any permanent or lasting damage, right? He just severed some branches, so he said it's probably possible. Although whether or not you can do that much damage to one blow, who knows? Maybe he can just railgun through the center and kill it. And we don't know the durability of the central piece, we just know some of the branches can be cut. Yep. So, pull back before the gravity pulse.
しかしどうやら
Good luck.
まるで歯が立たない相手というわけでもないらしい。
If nothing else, we've proven we're not powerless against it.
ええ、根人は確かに私たちの崇める神様だし、その信仰はあれが元いなのかもしれないけど、
Hey, I'm with
そ
you,
れでも
Vito.
あれ自体はあくまで単なるでっかい生物。
Maybe that thing really is the source of all our myths, but it's not a god? Well, not really.
絶対者でも
It's not immortal and it's
超越者でもない。
not all powerful.
蹴って殴って叩き壊せる代物よ。
It's alive, and that means we can kill it! Of course, if it bleeds, we can kill it. Exactly. Into the fray we go.
村正、一つ試す。運慶に新規を重ねろ。
Use gravity to aid my strike?
了解。
Got it. Well, what's with the wall up there? Oh, is that the route to the top of Fuji? I bet that's a guideline, the route to the top of Fuji. Well, how'd that
手
be?
応えは十分。
It got through? My gravity accelerated slash just now could have cut through 10 armored Musha. What effect did it have on this enemy? Hey! He hit exactly where I wanted to. 10 out of 10. It feels like something a reasonable person would have done, right? Aim at the center clusters. The god is howling. We've wounded it. A wide swath of the crystal forest lies felled as if ravaged by an army of unscrupulous loggers. If not for Muramasa's protection, its cries would render me senseless. I mean, that's a lot of damage, right? It might be an opening soonish. I assume its source of power is the center of whatever shape it is, but hey, if you can deal some damage so you can get in close to the forest of... Like, it's I don't know, hard to hit with melee, right? Admittedly, he's using aura slashes now, so melee is less important. But it's still melee-based attacks. Yeah, that's good. Feels good to have someone immediately hit the spot you want them to. Like, look at that line. Probably an up and down slash cutting off one of the major branches. Good shit, man. But look, it's regenerating.
予測の範疇だ。神にあらずとも、神のような力の主。
God or no,
この程度のことはやらない方がおかしい。
It wouldn't go down easily. Yeah. Tsurugi are living metal. They regenerate. Obviously it will too.
どうするつもり？
What do we do?
一撃で殺しきる。
Don't give it a chance to heal.
そうしてやれば再生などできまい。
Finish this in a single blow.
やるわけね。
ああ。
Yep. The railgun, our ultimate strike, and this time I won't be using a simple longsword, but Muramasa's true weapon, the mighty Nodachi. Though this will be my first time attempting it, I know nothing in the world can withstand Muramasa's full power, not even a god.
村正、準備を。
Start building a charge. Well, what? Oh no, did we accidentally trigger phase 2? Or is it a new attack? Everything's shifting. What is this? What? Run. I look behind me to the space I occupied just moments ago. A piece of the mountain is gone, crushed flat by some unimaginable force.
何をされた？
What just happened?
空間そのものを曲げて
I think it just bent space.
潰した。
It just reached out and crushed it? Impossible. Wait, I've seen this before. When Ginseigo summoned the black hole above Hachiman's shrine, its gravity warped the space around it.
あんなの抵抗しようがない。
We can't take a hit from that either. I mean, I would say is there anything we can take a hit from, but, you know, there was those little gravity pulses, the AoEs. We can take those.
重力波の攻撃と同じく逃げに徹するの
And
が
they
唯
do
一の
attack
対
you
処
have to
法
run for
か。
up. Of course, there's no way to be sure that running will remain effective against this latest attack. An attack that compresses space itself. How are we to know if we've truly escaped?
ミド、また
Another one, Mito? Ooh, interesting. Now we have some questions. Get as far away as possible or hide? I mean, hiding is not a strategy that will ever get us anywhere, right? Funnily enough, there's a bad end you can get by clicking. Oh yeah, there is a bad end you can get by hitting hide. I'm not gonna get it now. I might slap it later. Let's see. Bad ends. Go here. Let's play this the way I think it is. Get away. Distance seems to be to our advantage. Or rather, to our safety. We'll be safe at distance. Powerful though this attack is, I know its range has a limit, otherwise I wouldn't have escaped in the first place. It means the only sensible course is to flee as fast and far as I can.
来ない。
Nothing's happening. Yeah.
距離が遠いと
Maybe it
使
has a
えない
really
のかし
short
ら。
range?
かもしれん。しかし、
A small
俺は
comfort
手
is
強い
through.
な。うかつに近寄れんぞ。
Can't get close enough to strike.
効果範囲が見えないってのは厄介ね。耳を働かせれば把握できる可能性もあるけど、
Not
そ
without
んなこと
knowing
や
how
ってる
much
暇
space
なんて
it's
ないでしょ
grabbing.
うし。
A raider might be able to pick it out, but that'd take more time than we have.
あと、
One
もう
more
一
thing that
つ。
worries me.
なんだ。
What is it?
もしかすると、あれ、防御にも使えるんじゃないの？
What if it uses that power as a shield?
攻撃を曲げる。あるいは、自分自身を空間歪曲で瞬間的に移動させてか。
You're saying it could deflect our strike by bending space or even shift itself out of the way?
ありえないと言い切るのは無理だな。
I certainly can't discount the possibility given what we've seen. If the god's indeed capable of such defensive measures, then the railgun may no longer be decisive. To make matters worse, even one full-power railgun is likely to drain me dry. I can't waste heat probing the enemy's defenses, and I won't get a second chance. I have to assume the worst. The target will use spatial distortion to neutralize my attack, and come up with a way to land it all the same. But how? Oh.
何
Wrong.
いや
Nothing, just now. What? What are we seeing? There's light collecting. There's light collecting in this thing. What's it doing? What?
なんだ
Is Ginsego in there? I don't see it. It's zooming us in on purpose. I don't see it. We'll see it in a zoom or two. The Kanjin is closer? Oh yeah, he's closing in. That's what's happening.
空間歪曲よ
It's bending space again.
あっちとこっちの間にある空間を端から潰していってるの
This time it's folding the space between us. Oh,
不
so
条理にも程があるぞ
those step-ins were not it moving. It manipulated space to reduce the distance between you two. Okay. So, like, the hand? I guess that's the best example. It's just doing it in steps, right? Foolish question to ask a god. For now, there's only one option. I shut power to my engine, preparing to...
ミド
Mido?
見ればわかる
I see it. Flee. That was
一
close.
重ね
That's the same shots last time? Possibly.
あの根人さっぱり知的ではないが
For
ゲート
mindless
者だ
little
な
rocks, it's got quite the bag of tricks. What it did just now was likely instinctive. It wanted its prey closer, so it used that... What it means it had to make that happen. Those means just happened to be rather exotic.
とにかくもう動き回るしかない重力波も空間歪曲もこちらに目標を定めて使っているのは確かなんだから
All we can do
ま
for
ず
now
位
is
置を
keep
つかまれな
catching
けれ
us.
ば未然に防げる理屈よ
We're lucky its aim is so bad. We should be okay as long as we keep moving.
同意だ
Running's not a solution, but it will buy us time to find one. For now, that'll have to do.
ああもうまた
Why won't it stop? God damn.
向こうの力は無尽蔵のようだからな
I assume it's not worried about energy. That means we keep running. That's not a solution. What? We're not moving? Don't tell me it expanded the area effect. If it can do that, then why?
違う
Is it something new? What now?
な
What
ら
now?
今度は何だ
これは
No way. No way.
時間が
I think it's bending time? You've got to be kidding me. Time? Time? Shapes appear from out of thin air. Visions of myself. My past? My future? What is this?
時間歪曲
Time is folding in on itself?
どうなる
What does that
ごめ
mean?
んなさいわか
I
らない
don't know, I don't know.
わからないけど多分
Whatever it is, it's bound to be. Well, the fight's over for us. We just took it. We just lost. We're dead. Lights, a glittering storm surrounds me like stars against the black of space. They streak past with dizzying speed, appearing from nothing before vanishing once more. Or am I the one in motion here?
村正
Muramasa?
可能な範囲でいい
I'd appreciate any insights you go over.
現
Yeah,
在
this
状
is,
況を解説してくれ
lucky we have some plot armor or we'd just be dead here. Any insight, Muramasa?
と
It's that one scene from 2001 A Space Odyssey. I imagine Muramasa feels like a first-year university student called to deliver a lecture to the Royal Academy of Science. After a few moments, she hazards a guess.
今私たちは時間的に移動させられているそれは間違いないと思う
I'm pretty sure we're moving through time right now.
ただ私たちの意識に混乱が生じていないということは私たちの内的時間は正常に保たれているというこ
But our memories are still intact,
と
right?
内
So I
的
think
時
that
間
means
と外的時間が乖離してるのね
our time has been severed from that of the world around us.
この宇宙における私とあなたの時間的座標が通常の規則から逸脱した変異をしている
I guess you could
って
say our
表現では正しいのかしら
our temporal coordinates have been thrown into a state of flux. Does that make sense to you? Considering we haven't had to deal with temporal mechanics in the slightest, or any time travel, the fact that you're able to immediately assess our current state of being when we're in a rainbow tunnel is very impressive, to be honest, Muramasa. I don't think anyone could reasonably do that, but here we are. I understood about 3/4 of that explanation, and the other 25% can wait. I summarized. I mean, I got it.
要するに俺たちは4次元的に吹っ飛ばされたということなのか。
What flung us through the 4th dimension?
おおむねそうなんだと思う。
とてつもない過去、
We wind up in
あ
the
るいは
distant
未
past or
来へ
future?
放逐されると。
That would be problematic to say the least. I have unfinished business in my home time. We need to get back, but how?
いえ、それはどうか
Oh, we don't need to
わ
worry
か
about
らない
that.。
なぜだ。
Why not?
私の認識力が状況を正しく理解できているならだけど、
Assuming my senses are perceiving this
私たちは
correctly,
時間軸上を
we're not
直
moving in
線
a
的に
straight
移動して
line.
いない。過去と未来を行ったり来たりしてる。移動の幅もそんなに大きくはなさそう。当てずっぽうだけど、多
Instead,
分せいぜい数百年の範囲内なんじゃないかしら。
we're bouncing between past and future, and the range of motion isn't that great, only a few centuries in either direction.
つまり俺たちは今数百年前から数百年後の富士山上空に時間的座標を激しく変動させながら存在している。
Our fixed physical position is fixed above Mount Fuji, but our position in time is fluctuating rapidly between 100 years ago and 100 years hence. Not quite as bad as I thought. At least we won't wind up on Pangea or in a world ruled by hyper-intelligent cockroaches. While my prospects of survival are no longer daunting, it's hardly a reason to celebrate. Even 100 years later in either direction would present an insurmountable obstacle.
富士山上空以外はその通り。
Right. Well, except for the part about Mount
真
Fuji.
実がじゃなくて、
What, you mean our physical
Do you
coordinates
mean-
change too?
俺たちが富士山上空にいるとは限らない。
Hey, look, if you were bouncing through all of space-time, even just all of time, there are billions of years behind you and billions of years in front of you. Relatively speaking, a century is like nothing. Like a century is like a percent of a percent in terms of the amount of time relative to all time you're bouncing between. Like, it's so low, that's actually very good if you're randomly jumping between times. Our physical coordinates are changing too? I thought we were only moving through
時
time.
間移動が空間移動を伴わないという保証はないし、仮に私たちの空間座標が固定されたままだとしても、
There's no
や
guarantee
っぱ
that
り
can't.
相対的には移動が生じている可能性がある。
Is that we don't know what the fuck's going on. The good news is apparently we're only bouncing between the last couple centuries. Future and present. That's not so bad, right? Could be a billion years in the past. And there's no guarantee they can't they can't move us physically, even if our physical coordinates are fixed. Same as it's true for the rest of the world.
世界の棒が動いたら同じだもの。
Our relative position could still change. True. True, the galaxy and the planet is continuously in motion, as well as the solar system. Could be really bad. Late night AMQ hits different. Oh? Having a good night? Relaxing, playing some AMQ? Sounds good. Hope you were having fun. Oh, you were playing with a few friends last night? I hope that went well. Hope that went well. I'm hoping to. I wonder if I'll finish this arc today. Probably an hour and a half left, maybe. Are you winning? I hope you are. Good luck, Star. Good luck, Star. You put Mario and we laughed for like 20 minutes. It's me, Mario. Our relative position could still change.
なるほど。
That's what she means. The Earth is in constant motion, rotating on its axis, orbiting the Sun. Its position in the universe changes over time. Does that mean we could end up in deep space? Given that I can still breathe, it probably hasn't happened yet.
村正、
Muramasa?
何？
減速していないか。
Are we slowing down? I watch the lights streaming past. If I'm not mistaken, their speed's falling. As they slow, I begin to see them for what they really are. Not just dots shining in the black, but windows each showing a different scene. Am I seeing time?
そうね。根人が私たちに与えた時間的運動力が
I think
少しずつ消耗してゼロに近づいてるのよ。
I think our temporal momentum is starting to bleed off. It won't be long now. Oh yeah? You should. You absolutely should. It's fun. It won't be long
俺
now.
たちにできるのは祈ることだけか。あ
Is
れ
there
以
nothing
外
we
の
can do?
神に。
Is prayer our only hope? If it will increase our chances of emerging close to our original coordinates, I'll happily pray to any god. Any god save the Kanjin. Fair enough.
これも当てにならない推測なんだけど、
So this is like just a
多
guess.
分私たちの状況はそれほどまでに悲観したものでもなさそう。
Things they may not be as bad as you think.
そうか。
Oh. There's a way off this precipice. I certainly can't see it.
整理してみましょうか。
Let's think this through. Okay, okay.
私たちは本来の時間的位置から根人の力で弾き飛ばされた。
They were a rock, and the Kanjin picked us up and flung us through time.
私たちに働く外部からの力がそれしかないのなら、永遠といつまでも同じ速度で時間軸上を移動し続けるだけよ。
I don't know if it was raining last night. I wasn't paying attention. If it were the only force acting upon us, we'd keep hurling along the timeline in the same direction forever once we were thrown. Okay, fair enough.
でも
But that's not
事
what's
実は
happening.
そうなっていない。私たちを運ぶ力は徐々に弱まってる。何か別の力も働いていて、根人からの時間移動力を減災していると考えられる。
Instead, we're bouncing back and forth, and now we're slowing down. Some other force is acting in opposition to the Kanjin's power.
それが
This force?
私たちを本来の正しい時間的位置へ引き戻そうとする力。
Let's call it the
言うなれ
corrective
ば
force.
時間の修正力
I believe the corrective force is trying to pull us back to where we belong.
なんだと思う。
Our original position in time.
すると
Means...
最終的には
修正力は私たちを正しい位置へ戻すまで働き続けるはずだから、
If I'm right...
根人から新たに力が加えられてきたりしなければ、
Okay, the corrective force will keep working until we're back in our time, so long as Kanjin doesn't give us another push.
私たちは
Should get there
本
eventually, I
来の
think.
時間へ戻れると思う。
So we're like a cannonball launched into the sky. All we gotta do is wait for its gravity to pull us back down.
なら確かに悲観する必要はないな。
And you're right, it's not as hopeless as I feared. But we probably want to show up on the right day. Like, we need to land precisely.
ええ、この推測が正しいならね。
Unless my guess is completely off the mark. Let's pray that isn't the case. Our only other hope is to wind up in a future where they've already invented some kind of time machine.
ただ、
One thing though.
Hmm.
Oh yeah?
今はあっさり時空間を移動できているけど、このまま移動力が弱まっていくと、最後にはいくつかの時空間に捕まる
It
と
may
思う。
seem like we're flying freely, but if we keep slowing down like this, I think we're gonna get caught by one of those windows out there.
捕まる
Caught?
一時的に別の時空間の住人になるわけ。
Will temporarily exist in that time. Oh,
それ
that sounds
は
serious.
なかなか大事の気がする。
It sounds like actual time
何も
travel.
なければ、すぐに修正力がその世界の拘束力を上回って、私たちはまた本来の時空間へ向かって移動できるはずよ。
Should pull us out before anything goes wrong. Of course, of course.
何もなければね。
If something does go wrong, though,
何事かがあったら
it may not pull us out. Let's not hit any of those windows we haven't seen yet.
ええ、仮にも住人になるわけだから、何かの拍子で
There's a risk
その時空
something,
に固定されて脱出できなくなる危険性はある。
something could happen to anchor us to the time frame, and we'd be stuck there for good.
それを避けるには
Okay, how do we avoid that?
何もしないのが一番よ。その世界の事象に一切関わらないでおいて、修正力が働くまで待つの。
By having as little impact on the timeline as possible, it should be enough to just stand back and wait for the corrective force to do its job.
分かった。
Alright,
でも、これも絶対ではないから注意して。
it may not be true in
何
every
も
case.
しない
Be
で待ってい
careful.
たせいで、その世界の事象に絡んでしまうってこともあり得るし。
Depending on the situation, just standing around could change the course of history. I assume she's considering what might happen if we emerge in the middle of a major event. On a battlefield, for example, and if we just stand around and wind up catching a bullet, that would make us as much a part of the timeline as would killing a soldier. Of course, if it happens, I have other things to worry about besides getting back to where we belong.
基本的には何もせず、
Yeah,
た
random
だし
time
臨機
travel
応変の
BS.
気構えは捨てず、
You'll You don't know what it is, but you just keep watching. Exactly. You're like, this is out of nowhere, but alright. Basically do nothing but stay alert in case action is necessary. Sounds good.
それでいいか。
That'll get us home. Why is Muramasa suddenly so versed in exactly what to do when it's hurtled through time at random?
多分ね。
Probably. Probably. Just what I need to hear.
ここ
Where are we? Not Mount Fuji, that's for certain. From the look of it, it's unlikely to be anywhere in Yamato. Stone walls, high windows, a vaulted ceiling. It looks like the interior of a European castle. I feel the weight of history pressing down on me. I couldn't be more out of place.
村正。いつまで待っていればいい。
How long do we have to wait?
慌てないで。すぐよ。
Not long, don't
私た
panic.
ちをこの世界から引っ張り出そうとする力は、
I can
ちゃん
feel
と
the
働いて
corrective
る。
force pulling on us now.
幸い、面倒なことは何もないみたいだし、このまま静かに。
Luckily for us, there's no one around if we just stay quiet.
誰かそこにいるの？
Is someone there? Uh-oh. Well, this is awkward. A woman's voice breaks the silence with impeccable timing. It came from the darkness at the end of the hall. The words were foreign, not English. But a Eastern European tongue. Romanian, perhaps? Even though I couldn't understand the words, deducing their meaning was a simple matter. What else would someone say in this situation? And now footsteps echo loudly against the stone. They're getting closer.
ミド、
What do we do?
どうする？
Alright, new strat, guys. What do we do? We are in a giant suit of power armor. There's no way we sneak our way out of here. Alright, I don't know what the question's gonna be, but my thought is, if this was gonna be a funny moment, pretend to be a statue. Just pretend to be a statue. You're a giant suit of power armor. You're like 7 feet tall, with horns. Pretend to be a statue. I know you're in some Romanian castle, but try it. It might work. Thanks for the follow, Mr. Tag. Hope you're having a good time. We're almost at the end of this VN, and it's going quite well. What do we do? How to avoid being entangled in the events of this time? With each footstep, louder than the last, of course, every cell in my body screams, this is a battlefield and the bullets are flying. To be fair, if you randomly got thrown into a timeline, you'd be pretty stressed about accidentally altering the course of history by, say, like, doing anything, like even showing up in front of this guy, right? You don't know what the fuck's happening. Stay or flee. Stay or flee. Fuck it. Alright, I'm gonna save all of these positions. Here we go. Saving all of these questions for later. Alright. As funny as it would be to stay, flee is probably the answer we want. What does stay do? Apparently it's a bad end. That's what it is. So running away. The running away strategy. I want to see what happens when we stay, though. You know what we saved? I'm gonna stay because it would be funny. Let's see what happens, guys. You gotta get some bad ends, right? There's no tiger.
これは良いお客様。
There's no tiger dojo, so we don't get jokes when we die. We already saved. We don't get some jokes when we die, so I'm not incentivized to really hit all of them. But this one, I actually want to stay and see what happens. You know, the timeline shenanigans. Okay, what a present supplies.
教皇庁は本当に根気があるのね。討伐に差し向けた騎士は皆ことごとく帰らなかったというのに。
I must commend
ま
the
た
Vatican
新
for
た
their
な騎士よ。
perseverance. I thought they would have given up after the last batch of knights never returned.
見たところ、今度は東洋のお方かしら。
But now they've sent a knight from the east. How
楽しま
delightful.
せていただけそうね。
No need to ask Muramasa the meaning of her silence. I can feel it in my bones. Disaster, I've failed. The power that was pulling us home has receded. The connection severed the moment this woman beheld us. I can only imagine the trials Muramasa and I will face in this unfamiliar time as we search for another method of returning to our proper place. Does such a method exist? Will we find it before we succumb to despair? Perhaps we won't even get the chance. But first we have to survive her. Beauty, elegance, the very picture of nobility. Sayo? But the hunger in those basilisk eyes, the sweep of the red tongue across those chair lips tell me what she truly is. It's Carmilla. Until I escape this devil's grasp, even despair is a luxury I don't possess. It actually is. It
さあ
actually
開
is.
演しましょう。逃亡
Welcome
の
to
騎士様
Castle's Chest. Brave
ジェイケ
knight.
城の長い夜を
I do hope you'll stay a while. We weren't. I know. It was. Oh, it's a good meme, but I can't believe that actually happened. Castle CJEST. Yeah. So we did call Eastern Europe, and we actually ran into either Sayo or the previous wielder of her armor. She's gonna Testarossa maiden us. She doesn't need a Testarossa for this. No, just look at those hands and tell me. Look at those gloves. That is not light reflection on latex. Those are white gloves. This artist doesn't do bad highlighting, except on 3D models, and that's because of their lighting model. This is all 2D, man. Those gloves are the wrong color. Do hope you'll stay a while.
夜明けのない永遠の夜を苦しくあでやかに過ごしましょう。
Now come, let's dance. A ravening dance, for the night is long and red as blood. Okay, that was a sudden end. I was kind of hoping we'd have a bit more, but that was fine. Game over, you've fallen. Rest in peace. Not bad, not bad. A simple game over. A short one, but simple, right? Like, that's fine. I don't have too many problems with that one. Given that there's no, like, Tiger Dojos or anything in this where there's, like, really long extended scenes, and they don't, from what I've seen, they don't have too many long extended routes when you end up dying. They just very quickly go, you die. So that's not too bad. It did reveal to us exactly where we were, though. I don't know if we'll get that in the flea route. Let's find out. Your dragon idol killed us. Everyone's favorite idol murdered us. Let's flee. Might be crazy, but she's hot. You know it's the power armor that makes you look like that, right? Yeah, sure, she's super hot. She's actually wearing power armor. Yes, it has no defenses whatsoever, but it makes you look super hot. Because the person who's wearing it in our current timeline, for anyone who, you know, hasn't seen this for whatever reason, the person who's wearing it in our current timeline is Sayo. She's like a 4 foot tall, like 60-year-old woman, and she still looks like that when she puts it on, when she equips it. I turn and flee, driven by a primal terror, not of being trapped in this time, but of the thing that inhabits this castle. I hear the tinkle of laughter against my back. Something's chasing me, something with many slender limbs. I mustn't look to see what it is. To turn will spell my end. Turn and it will have me. So I run, fleeing the ineffable presence. How much longer must I...
Mido!
Mido?
来たか
Finally. The world falls away. We emerge in the midst of a storm. Sheets of rain beat against my armor as lightning crackles all around us. I struggle to regain some measure of control amidst the howling winds.
今度は暴風の真ん中か
Did it have to be a hurricane?
一応断っておくけど、私が行き先を選んでるわけじゃないからね。
Don't blame me, okay? I don't pick where we end up. I'm well aware. Meaningless banter, though it serves to distract somewhat from the terror. Even Musha, who rule the skies, are helpless against nature's fury. If there's a will guiding this ridiculous journey, I should sorely like it to dump us somewhere more pleasant. But clearly it doesn't have our comfort in mind. All we can do is wait and endure and pray for the corrective force to save us. Any second now. Any second now.
ミド、ね、あれ見て。
Mido down there?
した
What? I look down and only then do I realize we're above the ocean. And there, upon the storm-tossed waves, I see a rectangular shape. A ship? No, a boat, but unlike any I've ever seen, its lines are sleek and refined. The technology that built is years, if not decades ahead of anything I know. If that castle was the past, could this be the future? If so, perhaps I should take heart in citing this, for the presence of this boat suggests Konjin does not destroy the world. Unless, of course, this is an alternate future, one that will never come to pass. Do such things perhaps exist? Never mind, best focus on the problem at
あの
hand.
船、沈みそうね。
Looks like they're going down.
そうだな今にも
You're right, they don't have long. Advanced though the boat may be, it's no match for the wrath of the storm. Yeah, this is not a boat made for sailing on the ocean. Rescuing the crew is out of the question. That would simply constitute a significant impact on the... That would surely constitute a significant impact on the timeline. Their fate belongs to them and I mustn't get involved. But then, given my present position, could one not say I'm already involved? The storm has me in its grip and threatens to dash me from the sky even now. The boat could provide some shelter from the lashing wind and rain, at least long enough for the corrective force to do its job, perhaps. What should I do? Obviously we stay. I don't even know how this one was a choice. That directly influences the timeline. Obviously we stay. Descending would be foolish. I know we could save and check. Oh, you know, I should have checked that, just to see. There's some writing on the side of the boat. I assume that's its name. Time's up. I probably could have checked to see what Descend did, just to see what the name was. Let's hope our next stop is a little more relaxing. It's fine, we can go back. It was only like, what, 5 lines to the last choice? A fire? We've run out of words to express our frustration. Once again, the time stream dropped us in the middle of a nightmare. Everywhere we look, everything's burning, and we appear to be in what was once an open field with dirt beneath our feet, the sky above our heads, and all around us, the trees and grass are ablaze. A wildfire? Wait, there's something else in the flames. Where are we? Is this some kind of hell? The city of D? Though I'm not poetically inclined, the comparison comes swiftly to my lips. Such is the horror of the scene before us. Maybe they should have stayed. Yeah, maybe we could have landed in the future and not had to fight things. People. The field is littered with people, the blackened, twisted husks of what were once people. Only the skeletons identify them as human. The inferno has consumed everything else. And I stand there, flames beating against me, feeling guilty for the protection afforded by my armor, and wondering how this tragedy could have come to pass. Well, the good news is, it's getting all the water off our armor, right? Simplest explanation, I discard almost at once. A brush fire gone out of control? It may look like that at first glance, but a moment's skepticism is all it takes to see the flaws in that assumption. The bodies are all centrally located. Why did they die in this place, as if huddled together awaiting their demise? Why didn't they scatter when the fire started? It makes no sense unless they were put here, forced to stay, unless this fire was made to surround them, unless they were denied an avenue of escape. Amishi? You can tell. Not easy, but yeah. I think they're all Amishi. How do you tell they're all Amishi? Although there's something different about them? The Amishi, but not like the Amishi she knows. Could they be white Amishi then? Judea, the dwarves of the west? I take a look around now that the possibility occurred to me. The flora, what's left of it, it's not that of Yamato. It resembles what I've seen in photographs of Europe. Europe? White Amishi? The answer is there at the edge of my brain. Answers can wait. Just now, out of the corner of my eye, I spy an upright shape through the flame. Someone's still alive. Wait, Mito. Muramasa? There isn't a moment to lose. This isn't our time, remember? If we interfere, we'll be trapped. Is that really what you want? He's right. I forgot my purpose here. Wait quietly for the corrective force to ferry us away. Normally, amidst a raging inferno would not be the best place to stand idle thanks to my armor. However, the flames have little effect. I mustn't impact the timeline, and what greater impact than saving a person fated to die. The gust of wind parts the flames, offering a glimpse of the damned. Porcelain skin, long tapered ears. My guess was right, a white Amishi. And still just a girl by the look of her. She doesn't seem to have noticed me. Her eyes stare blankly at the flames closing in. Her eyes. Recognition sears my brain. I know this girl. I've seen her before at Yokohama base. Wolf introduced her to me. He called her the Forged Bomb. An empty girl with eyes like glass. Why is she here? Forget that. The mystery can wait. I have a cruel decision to make. To save the girl or leave her to her fate. Well, you should accept that things are gonna happen, I guess. The truth is, I know nothing about her. If she indeed is the same person I saw at Yokohama, the core of a weapon that burns cities to the ground? There's no way to be certain. It only leaves me with one truth, that if I do nothing, a child will die. Can I abandon her? I have to. If I rescue the girl and become trapped in this time, nothing will remain to stop the Kanjin. How many billions or millions will die in my time? Surely I can't sacrifice them to save this one girl's life. But why not? One world for one life? Who is to say the price is too high? Are numbers so important? You have the chance to save a life in imminent mortal danger. Is that not the more noble act? But choose. You know how it goes. You just leave her. This one isn't actually a branch to a special scene, but fuck it, let's leave it. Kind of regretting not seeing the one about the ship, so I'll save this one for later. Good night, my friend. Alright, I shake my head to clear it of the madness that nearly took me. Not my world, I'm merely an observer granted by singular twist of fate, a glimpse into events outside my time. I have no right to shape their course. My battle, my duty is elsewhere, and if I desire to change anything at all, then it is there I must return.
焦らせないでよ。
すまん。どうも熱に当てられたらしい。
The heat must have gotten to me. I can no longer see the girl through the flames. It's for the best, no telling what emotions another glimpse might inspire. I focus my attention inward, awaiting the now familiar pull. I've been here long enough, surely. Oh, we're on the beach at Enoshima. We find ourselves on a sandy beach. It's dark and quiet. It's only the sound, the lapping of waves against the shore. No roaring flames, no howling wind, no chilling presence from which to flee. Here there's only peace.
まだか。しかし、
Not home, but at
一
least we
息
can
つける
rest.
な。
そうね。それに、時間はともかくとして、ここはヤマトみたいだし。
But it is Yamato. We had future past. We had past. We had past for getting chased, future for the boat. Past, then future for the village? Maybe? Future for the Flaming Village? Would this be the... No, that was the past for the village, so would this be the future? He's right, this is Yamato's shoreline, somewhere on the Pacific, if I'm not mistaken. I look up, and there, the constellations are in their proper place, and the moon...
どうしたの？
月が
The moon.
月？
The moon?
割れている。
It's broken.
は？
Come on,
ちょ
don't
っ
be
と、
silly.
突拍子もないこと言わないでよ。落ち着きなさい。月は満ち欠けするけど、割れたりなんて。
The moon waxes and wanes, it doesn't... Can we have that line again? Hold up. What a response! What a response! That's great. Okay. Indeed, this is no illusion. No matter how hard I try to convince myself it must be. New sound redeem, maybe. The scared sound effect. No matter how hard I try to convince myself it must be, it's no illusion. The moon, Earth's constant companion, lies shattered in countless glittering fragments like a plate of fine china dropped on the floor. How is that possible? Could we be witnessing the moon's formation? But that would mean... What? What?
落ち着け。
Calm down, calm down. I interrupt Muramasa before she accidentally summons an eldritch horror.
ここが数万年。どころではないか。数億年以上昔の地球上
There's
という可能
buildings
性
on
はあ
the
るか。
side. Is there any way we wound up billions of years in the past? Billions?
だいたい数百年の枠の中で動いていたはずだし、それはないと思うけど、周りもそんな風には見えないし。
Shouldn't be more than a few centuries in either direction. Besides, wouldn't things look really different? An excellent point. I've read that the Earth and Moon were born at nearly the same time. If this were truly 4 billion years in the past, the environment would be unrecognizable, surely. Correct. Yeah, that's absolutely correct. If the Moon was still being formed, it would not look like normal Yamato. Not the past, then. The future? At some point in the next few hundred years, something happens to shadow the moon? What could happen like that? War over the first lunar settlement? An invading extraterrestrial force? Us punching a god into the stratosphere? Straight out of One Punch Man? What? In our confusion, we failed to notice we weren't alone. A short distance away, a lone figure is walking down the beach, moving away from us with slow, steady strides. A woman, though in the darkness, and with her back turned to us, it's difficult to make out the details. Suddenly she stops, perhaps sensing our presence. Before I can think to react, she wheels and fixes me with her stare. What am I supposed to do? I freeze, and for a moment we look into each other's eyes. Hey, it's Ichijo! It's future Ichijo. I've never seen her before in my life, of this I'm certain. And yet, though as a whole her aspect is unknown to me, parts of her I find strikingly familiar, in particular, those eyes. Those eyes. Her expression betrays no hint of surprise, even though to her it must seem that I appeared out of thin air. Of course. Of course, because you probably tell her in the future. You might tell her in the future. Or she's just really good at hiding her emotions. Her gaze is quiet, calm like the night around us, but at the same time somehow distant, as if she's gazing into the past, or perhaps into the depths of her own heart. She says nothing, and I know not what to say. A moment passes in silence. And then she turns and resumes her march. Her path is unbending, straight as a line. Is she lost again? Yeah, you might have told her in the past. But it's also possible we didn't tell her shit, and she has the willpower not to react at all. I watch until she fades from sight, but never once does she slow her stride or turn to face me again.
Mido.
Oh.
Yeah. I feel the familiar pull. Our sojourn this time is coming to an end. So who is that?
知らない。
Don't know. You sure?
本当?
You sure?
なぜ疑う？
Why wouldn't I be?
まあいいけど、
Well, if you say so.
それより
Get
気をつけて
ready.。
多分
I think this is
これ
it.
で元に。
Is it just me, or is the blue thing in the center bigger? Yep, we're back at the spot. We emerge in the sky above Mount Fuji. Muramasa was right. It's our time. I look down to see Kanjin hovering below us. One face glowing with the telltale light of a charged gravity beam.
そうか。
Of course.
元の時空間へ戻るということは、
Returning
す
to
ぐ
our
さま
time.
あの神との戦闘が再開されるというこ
It
とだ
naturally
った
means
な。
picking up where we left off.
だから気をつけてって。
I said get ready. No time to reflect on the intricacies of time travel. I throw myself into a roll. The outer edge of the beam passes scant centimeters from my armor.
言ったでしょうに。
Didn't I?
あ
You did.
あ、
Still.
しかし、重力波に空間歪曲。
Now we've seen this god warp both space and time.
そろそろ種切れにならないのか。
Surely it must be out of tricks.
種はともかく、弾数ならまだまだ尽きないみたいよ。
Tricks maybe, but it still has plenty of ammunition. Oh yeah, I can see that. That one missed by a wider margin. The god now brings its full arsenal to bear. Beams, waves, fields of crushed space. The energy expenditure must be astronomical, yet our enemy shows no sign of tiring. Still, things could be worse.
いくつか分かった。あれは同時に2つのことはできない。
2 points in our favor. First, it can't do 2 things at once.
そして、立て続けに行動することもできない。
Second, it needs time to charge each attack. Can we tell which attack it's doing yet?
ええ。
They're fighting a real life boss fight. They have to do long ass wind ups for each attack. It can teleport short distances without warning, but all its attacks seem to come with significant downtime.
力の総量は無限に近いほどあっても、それを無制限に扱えるわけではないでしょうね。
So even with unlimited energy reserve, it can only use so much at once.
もっけの幸いだ。せめてその程度の条件がつかなくては賞
Count
賛も
ourselves
立たない。
lucky. Otherwise, we'd have no chance at all. As long as we have even one advantage, we can use that to build a plan of attack.
狙いどころは新規の激流を使ってきた直後。
I assume we strike after one of the beams.
ああ、
Yeah, we get close,
そ
land
の
a hit,
隙を
and
つい
withdraw
て
before
一撃を加え、離脱する。
for its next attack. Sounds good. Easier said than done, of course. A moment too slow and Kanjin will catch us with a point-blank gravity wave. There's no margin for error, but if we stay sharp and minimize our exposure, there's a chance.
苛立ってる。
I think it's mad.
攻撃が成果を上げないことに加え、チクチク刺して回られるのが気に食わないか。
I would be too if I kept failing to swat a mosquito. That's precisely what we need.
神が怒りに任せ、さらに大規模な攻撃を仕掛けてきた時が、こちらの勝機だ。
When it gets angry enough to try an even stronger attack, that'll be our chance.
大きな攻撃を行えば大きな隙が生じる。
The bigger the attack, the longer the cooldown. And with luck, that'll give us time for a railgun.
けれどこれ、蛇がいるって分かってる藪をつつくようなものよね。
Still feels like we're poking a tiger to see what'll happen. Well, we are the tiger hunters today.
違いないな。
We said we'd kill a god, so I guess we gotta do it. If the tiger ends up ripping my face off, well, mine can be the story young Musha looked to as an example of how not to conduct a probing offense against an unknown, possibly divine opponent. Indeed, my chance of meeting that ignominious fate are a great deal higher than I'd like.
せめて、己の愚かさを後悔はできるように努力するか。
Let's see if we can live long enough to regret this foolishness.
了解。後悔は生き延びた人だけの贅沢だものね。
Can't punch yourself in the face if you're dead. I dodge a beam by the skin of my teeth and dart close for another quick strike. If I can just keep this up. Hold on, that beam just snapped.
ミド、待って、いけない。
Wait, something's wrong.
何か変。罠かも。
I think it's a trap. A trap from this mindless beast, but another beam already?
避けて、ミド。
What changed?
今までは手加減していた。
Is it
とでも
holding back
言うの
before?
か。
違う。一発の威力を抑えて連射ができるようにしてきたの。
No, it's holding back now. It's reducing the power of each shot to increase the rate of fire.
威力を。
Reducing power? I see. Those last two beams were smaller than before. But where did it get that idea?
まだ来る。
Again?
ひとまず離脱するぞ。
Falling back. I can't get close enough to strike. The longer we're on the defensive, the greater likelihood we take a hit. What we need right now is time to regroup.
了解。
Got it.
ダメ、後ろに。
Not that way, not that way. Just as I swerve to evade a beam, I see space twist in front of me and find myself running headlong into a gravitic distortion. How did it know which way we would turn? Luck, or did it predict our movements? I mean, you're making this fight drag out way too long. This is clearly a learning machine. It takes every ounce of maneuverability Muramasa has, but I managed to skirt past the distortion with only minor damage to my right leg armor. Just as I breathe a sigh of relief. It can do two things at once. The monster fires another beam directly into my path. My wings are overextended, no further maneuvers are possible. Checkmate, trapped in the empty sky, and now the god's wrath comes to end it all. Sweep me away like a bird in a gale. It's here. Acting on pure instinct, I deflect the oncoming beam with a gravity charge slash. It works, but rather than congratulate myself, I choose to thank whatever powers granted me their favor. The tiniest deviation from the beam's center line and it would have gone through me like a bullet through rice paper. Given I had no time to aim, that I accomplished this feat is nothing short of a miracle.
なんだか新しい宗教を開けそうな気分
I feel
よ。
like I should start my own religion.
後でやれ。
I'll have
い
to
くらで
join
も応
them.
援してやる。
First, what's
ど
going on
う
here?
いうことだ。
I don't expect an immediate response. Muramasa's not all-knowing. Like me, she needs time to process the unfamiliar. There's no change in the god, none that I can see, and yet something's different. Until now, his actions were raw, primal, and absent anything resembling intellect with the last sequence of attacks. Reduced power beams, strong enough to scatter my atoms like dust, but also a great deal faster. The charge. When I attempted to flee their onslaught, it cut me off with the spatial distortion, forcing me to swerve into the path of its final attack, the one that should have killed me. Yeah, not very automated. It can't have been coincidence. It was too polished, too tactical. The more I play it back in my head, the more convinced I am that a human or human-like intelligence was involved. Someone woke up their god?
なぜ急に変化した。
How could it change so suddenly? Maybe it used all the time we were trapped in space-time to, formulate a strategy to deal with us? Maybe that's why it sent us through time?
その疑問、納得のいく回答が一つだけ思いつくんだけど。
Care to hear it? Okay, I'm listening.
妙に嫌な予感がするが。
Yes, though I suspect I'm not gonna like it. No. Some element of Ikari is in charge now?
神だから。
Cause it's a god? Oh, that's a lame excuse.
納得はできるが解決策になっていない。
Real freaking helpful.
そうよね。
Right? Sorry to disappoint you, but there's no great mystery here. It's now communicating in Japanese or English.
今、
Did you hear?
何か聞こえた？
聞こえた
Heard? More like felt.
というより感じた。
Not a voice. Thoughts beamed directly into my head. Could they be coming from the Kanjin? Kanjin? Yeah, probably. This god, imbecile though it surely is, seems to have an instinctive understanding of what it lacks. It needed a brain to chase you down, so it found one in an old fool of a man it consumed some time ago. The brain of a man it consumed some time ago. Okay. It breathed new life into my worthless husk and brought me back from the underworld to be its captain. Who are we facing then? I know this voice, though the words lack sound or image. I can't deny the texture is familiar. I met the speaker before, but where? Where? Can't even speak properly. Damn this ridiculous body. Let's change it to something more appropriate. And then the god transforms. The crystal forest folds in on itself with the sound of a million dead branches snapping. And from the shining polyhedron at its center with a roaring like the thunder of heaven sprout arms, legs, a torso, and a head.
人間？
A man. No.
いや
Form it assumes is like a man, but armored, winged, and wielding a mighty blade.
竜形
A Musha. And not any Musha, but one I've fought before. I was right, it's him. No
赤
way!
坂右京
Nagasaka Ukyo. Oh wait, the guy we killed?
ようやく気づきよったか。血の巡りの悪い若造め。
See, time hasn't sharpened your wits any well. Wait, why this guy? Why this idiot from, like, chapter 2? Of all the people who died, why this Pepega? The prefect? Sorimachi isn't dead. I would have really liked it to be Sorimachi. That would have been some funny shit. But for some reason, it's the creepy guy who's in love with Ichijo. Who's in love with Ichijo because he liked her mother. Wannabe Kinzo, exactly. Why the prefect? That makes no sense. He doesn't have an attachment to this, really. I mean, he was implanted with Kinsego's egg at some point, but like, he didn't go crazy. We killed him before it hatched and even got it out? I don't get it. I can hardly begrudge Muramasa for surprise, not when my own thoughts are a jumble of confusion. Why is he here? What connection does he have to the Kanjin? Most of all, how is he alive? We killed him.
良い心地よ。
Such power. I've never felt so alive.
たぎるはこれが命、これが力か。俺は内世に戻ってきたのだな。お山の神の力を持って。
They called me a fool. They scorned my dream, and now I'm back, and the Kanjin's power is mine. It would have been. I mean, it would have been funnier if Hikaru got out, got to exist for a minute. But instead, it's this guy, and I don't know how he got to be alive. All right. I guess Hikaru would have like never let you win, so that would have been rough.
愉快よ。これほど愉快な話もないわ。
Fate is clever indeed. The man I slew now towers before me, his laughter shaking the earth and his head touching the clouds. It has to be a dream, but nope. I'm wide awake and the warmth of my bed is a world away.
村正、あり得ることか。重力
Muramasa,
操作による死者の蘇生というのは。
bring a man back from the dead?
ありえない。死んだ者が生き返るなんて絶対にないことよ。
No, dead is dead. Nothing can change that. Muramasa takes a moment to collect herself, and when she continues, her voice is almost too soft to hear.
でも疑似的なことならでき
It
るの
might
か。
be possible to do something close.
死骸を基礎にしてその生前に近い存在を作り上げることなら。
Create a near identical copy using the original's body as a guide.
それがあれか。
So he's a copy? Yeah. That's easier to swallow than the other possibility, but where did the Kanjin acquire Nagasaka's body? Wait, the mountain I buried him under. Didn't legend call it Kanjin's home?
匂う。匂うぞ。
She's close, isn't she? I can smell her.
一姫が近くにおる。
God.
そう
Come for me, Ichihime.
俺を迎えに来たか。
As I knew you would. That awkward moment when the creepy grandpa stalker comes to life as a literal god after you murder him. Yeah, things you like. Stalkers are bad. I don't know why. Like a divine construct resurrecting a stalker as a god. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's someone's nightmare for sure.
であろう。お前は神に嫁ぐと言った女。すなわち、お前をめとるのはこの俺に他ならぬ。
You vowed to wed the god of the mountain, and now that title belongs to me?
今こそ
At last. Yeah, you will be mine! Extra creepy, alright. The Titan takes but a single step and the shockwave tumbles me across the sky. Far below I see Fuji tremble. Where does he mean to go? You know, Muramasa's cry is a warning. A warning, of course. There's no time for questions. If nothing gets anywhere near a town, it'll cause catastrophic damage. Gulliver may have refrained from squashing the Lilliputians, but it'd be foolish to expect the same restraint from this giant. Wow, Gulliver's Travels? Really? Was that the island? I can't remember. I don't remember. I don't remember what friggin' movie that is. How's it going? Is he gone? Dude, we're facing a colossal version of the guy from like chapter 2, or one or two, the creepy wannabe Kinzo who like is obsessed with Ichijo because he liked her mom. That weird guy. Yeah, God becoming that. Feels weird. Most of all, my duty hasn't changed. Whatever its shape, or the mind controlling it, that God is still the source of the chaos threatening the world.
Nagasaka!
Nagasaka!
まだいたか、ハムシ。
Still there, Mom.
貴様など別にどうでもよいわ。
I have no more business with you.
尻尾を巻いて遠吠えしておれ。
Let her off now and watch as I claim my prize!
そうしたいのは山々だが、立場上、飛んで火にいらねばならぬらしい。
Much as I'd like to do just that, it seems I have no choice but to plunge into this flame. I strike for his neck. I can hardly expect this golden behemoth to have the same weakness as a real Musha would, but it's better than having no target at all. As expected, my strike accomplishes little. If anything, it's even less effective than before. It felt like bashing a boulder with a stick. I thought that the prefix Musha form was just for convenience and show, but it seems that shining armor is indeed functional, and harder than that of any Tsurugi I've faced.
かゆい真似を
Went for his neck. His neck is relatively unprotected, isn't it? I roll away from his swatting palm, and the gale force winds that lash at me as it passes speak to the behemoth's titanic mass. This must be how Isun Boshi felt.
貫くよ赤そうめ。今日もまた俺の邪魔をするか。
Insolent whelp, I should have known you'd stand in my way once again.
一身上の都合により
As needs require.
相変わらずの言い草もいまいましいわ。よし。相手してくれるぞ。
How I loathe those words. So be it, I accept your challenge.
考えてみれば、貴様への借りを置き捨てておくのも合配だ。
Come to think of it, I owe you quite the debt. There'll be plenty of
生
time
き
to
姫
claim
の
my
元へ
bride
赴くのは、
after I've paid
離
in
婚
full.
を晴らしてからでも遅くなかろうよ。
So said, the Titan assumes his stance. My foe is a mountain seething with malice, his blade a glacier honed to the razor's edge. I feel like the lowest imp of hell facing a Kala whose wrath cleanses all. To describe this sight as terrifying would be woefully inadequate. Fear rises in my throat with an acid fury, demanding I should flee or be consumed from within. It takes every ounce of fortitude I possess. I manage to swallow the bile and whisper,
よし好機だ
finally a chance.
ものすごく努力して、その一言を言ったのがわかるから、
Like this, I
褒
get
め
job
てあ
getting
げ
it
たい
out.
んだけれど、
And it wait until I stop
そ
shaking.
の前に、私も同じくらい頑張って、
I mean,
今の言葉になぜ
let's
かない
think
と
of
い
the
けない。
upsides. We're tiny, so finding gaps in his armor is easy. Because the armpits and those elbows are basically the size of a hill. You could literally stand in the joint and take a swing at it. The downside is the joint opening and closing might crush you, and the force of him moving his arm might kill you, but hey, if he goes for a swing and is a little bit slow about it, because people don't scale well like that, you know, square cube law, all that jazz, you might be able to get him, like, in the eye, in the mouth, armpit, maybe? Depending on how the hip joints work, the groin could be a weak spot. It doesn't matter because all his body's the same material. I mean, that might be it too. If all his body's the same material because it's not actually metal, you could just say fuck it and go right through the heart with a railgun, you know, as long as he's a target. We made a blood oath with our sexually attractive robot spider, we can win anything. True. At this point, we can win.
いや別にいい
No need, as long as my
俺
meaning
の
is
意図
clear.
が通じてさえいるなら
And of course it was. Even as we trade banter, Muramasa is tuning her functions for a different kind of combat. The situation's changed, regardless of how it was done. The fact that it's giving itself Nagasaka's mind increased Kanjin's strength tenfold. No longer a beast lashing out in mindless fury, it has become something to rival the mightiest warrior gods of myth. Limitless energy and world-bending power, guided by an old soldier's cunning and skill. To say the balance has shifted would be an understatement. Before I had a clear advantage in technique which allowed me to overcome Kanjin's vastly superior strength. Even after Nagasaka's first took control, his unfamiliarity with the god's power and form meant the advantage, though diminished, remained with me. In his own form? And now that he's regained the form and the weapons to which he's best accustomed, where does the skill advantage lie? With him or with me? I like how they have us down here at the bottom. We're like smaller than his kneecap in scale. We are in fact to the bottom right of that flame. We did show up. The answer is neither, as I believe it must be. Then strength alone becomes the deciding factor, and there, a vast gulf still exists between me and this being from the stars, a divide that no amount of wishful thinking can cross. And yet this is my chance. Because now I'm facing Musha, a man armed with a sword. Mind games are possible now. You can in fact mind game this guy. Like, there's a lot of possibilities now. Previously, all you could do was try to figure out what its instincts would do and then abuse them, and now you have a person. You can mind game them hard. You might even be able to tilt him really easily. And that's a fight I know how to win. Certainly I'm at a tremendous disadvantage as my enemy's power and reach are many times greater than mine. That's merely a tactical problem, the kind I've trained all my life to overcome. For every problem, a solution. That's the purpose of Yoshino Onryu. That's the art of the sword. The man's like, I'm fighting. He's like, oh no, I'm fighting an alien. I'm fighting like a metallic alien. That's fucking I don't know how to deal with this shit. And then it's like, ah yes, the 150 meter tall Titan. Oh, it's just a dude with a sword. Easy, guys, easy. We got a strat for this in Yoshino Onryu. Give me 1 second. Truly, Japanese swordsmen have trained for everything, including apparently fighting giants. In my enemy's stance, I read his intent. I see the perfect logic of his formula for victory. For a man driven by such naked passion in battle, this old soldier is strikingly calm. Another man might have let the Kanjin's power go to his head. He might have recklessly attacked without a care or plan, believing his divine might would crush me. Nagasaka Ukyo is no fool. He holds his blade steady like a pillar supporting the sky, waiting for the moment of certain victory. Sword that harnesses life, a fundamental principle of the Rokuhara Shinkage Ryu. School and I share a strange bond. Though I never studied it myself, I've faced its disciples on numerous occasions, and it occasioned me to familiarize myself with its teachings. The Titan's stance appears flawless. Surely no strike could make it through unanswered. But if I look closer, I spot the smallest imperfection, a gap through which a particularly brilliant swordsman might slip and seize victory. This, of course, is a trap. A truly impenetrable defense is a liability. It encourages your opponent to think beyond his teachings. And this solution, he discovers, might well take you by surprise. Far better that he expend his resources at the time and place of your choosing. By giving your opponent a chance to live, you lead him to his death. This is the sword that harnesses life, Katsuninko. The power Nagasaka has acquired from God will make this strategy even more effective. His metal flesh can withstand any conceivable attack. His counterstroke need only brush my armor to deal a mortal blow. He's chosen a plan that guarantees victory. And in response... Giant's laughter tells me my intent's clear. In response to my enemy's ruse, I've chosen to play directly into his hands, to take his bait and swallow that poison whole. I'll strike first, answering cunning with brute force. I'll plunge into the jaws of hell with all the strength and speed I possess, hoping to seize my foe by the throat before they snap shut around me. It's the sword that plunders, that rends, that takes life. Setsuninko. The Titan's contempt is well deserved. And yet, Nagasaka Ukyo, though your years and experience serve you well, there's one thing you don't see. You believe I can't touch you, and that death is yours alone to command. You're wrong. That power is mine as well. Heat fills the pit of my stomach, setting my blood aflame. I stoke the blaze hotter, guiding the energy to where it's needed most. My body is an engine, my heart its molten core. Every cell exists for but a single purpose: to fuel one irresistible blow, the ultimate expression of Muramasa's legendary might. The end begins. Death awakens. The void opens wide. I sense my enemy's sudden alertness like needles in the base of my skull. Ah, you see what I'm about to do now. So how will you answer me, Nagasaka Ukyo? Will you smite me with your godly power before I can unleash my own might? In principle, the attack I'm about to perform is no different from the one called Magatsu. Muramasa will induce magnetic repulsion between sword and sheath, and I will transform that violent energy into a lightning flash. The basic formula remains the same. The difference between this technique and Magatsu is not one of process, but of magnitude. Speed, power, weight, reach. The destructive force my Nadachi Kotetsu can command is 100 times greater than anything of which I was capable of before. Force enough to slay even a god. With a mighty roar, the Titan strikes, and here, at the moment of truth, he abandons technique for raw, savage power. Terror seizes my heart. Terror and awe. How must my opponent feel, raised from the dead and thrust into battle with all the command of a god his to command? I can hardly believe it's real. His thoughts must be tangled indeed. And yet in a world gone utterly mad, Nagasaka Ukyo remains a warrior to the end. Close. Shameful though it may be, I can't help but feel relief. If his attack had come but a moment sooner, it would have splattered me across the sky. But a moment is all the time in the world. And now the advantage is mine. This might be our last shot. Yoshino and Ryukasa and Reiho adapted from Jinrai.
レールガン
Railgun.
ウガチ
Fugachi. Alright. Ooh, a new animation for drawing it. The vertical slash. Yup. Yup. Yo! Let's see this shit. Did we just, like, split him in half? Please tell me we split him in half. Oh, we did! Heck, yes! Cut him in half. Awesome. The destruction is absolute where Kotetsu passes. Nothing remains, only a black and hungry void that howls as it expands, consigning everything it touches to an infinite dark sea. Damn, look at that shit. We cut this guy, it just right down the center. Look, you can see, we even like cut through the Guitari at the back, like the engine's gone, the power armor's gone. This is an interactive novel. I mean, there's some route selection for this. Yeah. We're on our 4th route right now, so there is some interaction. There are also like weird puzzle sections, if you want to do those. I'm mostly following a guide because finding the routes beyond the first one is a bit of a pain. Although once you get onto the route for 3 and 4, it's pretty easy from there. Okay. When destruction is absolute, where Kotetsu passes, nothing remains, only a black... Oh, we already read that. Yep. My blade is torn out, the Titan's core. Nothing in that world can survive that, not even a god.
終わりね。
It's over. All that's left is to bear witness to the end. The end of the Konjin, god of metal. End of Captain Nagasaka Ukyo. The end of... To heal from this. The end? Is he gone? The collapse is reversing?
復元するつもり
He's rebuilding himself?
バカだ
Impossible. Get swinging.
二度までも二度までも
Again? By your hand?
貴様なのに
I'll not be denied.
俺が
What power, what will to claw his way back from the edge of annihilation? He can't be allowed to succeed. One more railgun, surely that finishes him? But the Titan knows this as well, and abandoning restraint, he summons a cyclone of raw chaotic power, and throws himself upon me with a howl of desperate fury. That's a lot of white.
良き立ち会いであった。おかげで寝覚めが至極いい。
Ah, to be roused by the sound of blades. A fine match. Well fought indeed. That sounds like Hikaru. A voice. Just now I heard a voice.
だが往生際の悪さはいただけぬ。せっかくの武名を自ら怪我してはなるまいぞ。
Ah, alas, brave stalwart. Your time is up. To linger will only darken your glory.
花は桜木人は武士。散りざままでも華々しくあれ。
For this is Yamato, a land of blossom and sword. A warrior must remain proud to the end. What?
何
Accept your loss.
生と死の選択を己に課す命題として自ら問う。
Time to pose that eternal question, to be or not to be, we ask.
されば嘲笑の歓喜する渦に喜劇の幕よ。いざ上がれ。
Let's begin this comedy on this stage where mad laughter does ring. Something exploded. Don't know what. Is it Giga Ginsego? Just regular Ginsego?
光る
Hikaru!
答えは用意したか影明。ここはついに世界の果て。
I like how she just straight up comes back and she's like, oh, well, I was napping for a little too long now, was I? Have you ready to answer, Kageaki? At last the world's end has arrived.
道家の奇弁と悪魔の仮面がお前の影を踏んでいる。
And Death and the Jester are chopping at heroes. Just what we wanted for an ending fight. Hikaru, perfect. Fuji's majesty is no more. The power unleashed in my struggle with the Konjin shattered the mountain's mighty peak, freeing the geological forces beneath. And below seethes the molten sea. Above, ash blankets the sky. Everything is the color of old, rotten blood. There's no future here, no light, nothing but destruction and death. What can exist in this place?
勝者のみ
The victor alone?
ただ一人の勝者のみが果てに立つ
Only one who has conquered all others may stand triumphant at the end of the
そ
world.
のものをこそ神と呼ぼう人に許されざるを自ら許す超越の権能者と
True, we have not seen the moon shatter. They hinted that the moon would be shattered, possibly that it would be and with the only hint being we might cause it, or it's a weird hook. That could be cool. I mean, it could just be a random hook, but the idea is like maybe you'll cause that. We need to see that shit happen. So, to that warrior will go the mantle of godhood, and with it the right to transcend, at will, the petty laws that bind mortal man. I knew she might return. I planned for it. Hikaru, my sister lost in a dream. I swore to kill her when next we met, and that time is now. Now I must... Hikaru. Kageaki. My voice is barely a whisper, yet she answers me with a nod, a smile, an island of serenity in a sea of molten chaos, and yet I must...
お前
Are you?
なのか
You?
なんだその全問答は
Is that some kind of riddle? He chuckles.
いやわからんではない何やら吹っ飛ばされかけたり地底に埋没したりそこで変なのに出くわしたりいろいろとあったからな
I
心配を
understand
か
the
け
need to
た
ask. I've been through quite the ordeal. Blown nearly to pieces, dragged underground, absorbed into some giant thing. All quite exciting, of course. Were you worried for me?
案ずるな結局何だったんだか我がことながら未だにさっぱりよくわからんが光は光る他の何者でもない
Worry no more. I may have no idea what happened, but I can still say with certainty that I'm still myself, still Hikaru.
見ての通り健在だ
Alive and well, as you can see.
そうか
Good. I didn't come here to talk. I'm here to...
神と言ったな
You spoke of godhood?
ああ
お前は
Is that what you
この世
want?
の神になりたいのか
Become a god? Did he only just notice that now?
神になりたい
Do I
か
want to?
ふむそれは考えたこともない
Never thought of it like that.
だがならなくてはならぬと知っている
I only know I must.
ならねば光の望みが叶わぬ
Without godhood, I can't realize my dream.
これはお前と村正が教えてくれた道
It's the path you and Muramasa showed me.
だがお前は
But you're already a god.
ん
Sorry? No, this isn't it either. I'm not supposed to be looking for a way out.
見ればわかるあの神は砕けて散ったが
I can tell
力
the
は失われていない
Kanjin is gone, but its power
お
remains.
前の中にある
It belongs to you now.
ミドこれのことであろう
Oh, I believe he means this.
ああこれか
Oh, I see.
な
Yeah.
かなか大したものではある
This power is impressive to say the least.
肝臓が10個くらい増えた感じだな
It feels like I have 10 extra livers.
それでもう十分だろ
You already have the power of a
お
god.
前
Isn't
は
that
神
enough?
と名乗れるだけの力を持っている
Is it though? You just beat it. You just beat God. Is it...
この上さらに
What do you want?
何を望む
分かりきったことをあえて聞くそこがお前の不思議なところだ
You have the strangest habits. Always asking questions to which you know the answer. Why is Hikaru so great?
いや
Of course, I'm
そ
not a
も
god.
光は未だ神の座に値せず
Not yet.
気づけば手に入れていたこの謎の力なるほど
True,
確
I
か
have
に
this
強大
alien
だ
power. And it's no small thing, to be sure.
しかし力さえあれば神たるのかでは恐竜は神か海藻は神か
Good question, good
80
question.
センチ重列車砲は神か
Is power enough to make one a god? Were the dinosaurs gods then? Are tsunamis gods? Is an 80 centimeter railway gun a god? Railgun? I assume 80 centimeter railgun is a
う
god.
なずけまい
Clearly not.
力は力に過ぎぬ
Power is merely a tool. of
因で
means.
あってかではない
It is not, and not the end.
過去幾人もの覇王が神を自称したそれは彼らに力があったからかいな力を持って国々を切り従えたからこそ王は己に神聖宿るを信じたのだ
Throughout history, kings and
Shinmin
emperors
mo
named
mata.
themselves gods. Was it power alone? That there was their claim to divinity? No, it was conquest. The lands taken, the rivals vanquished. These are what made them godly, and in their eyes, and the eyes of their people. But still,
お前は
I don't know why he expects her to change her mind. It's not like she's actually crazy. After all this,
光は歴史への敬意のもと、その示す道筋に従おう。いかに大きな武力を持とうが、成果を世に表すまでは決して戦勝すまい。
at least she's being fair and honest. As a humble student of history, I must follow the example of those who've gone before. No matter how mighty I become, I shan't dare to name myself a god until my conquest is complete.
そして過ちの鉄も踏むまい。
And nor shall I repeat history's mistakes.
かつての覇王は皆中途で堕落した。世界人類ことごとくを征服する前に満足し、力に溺れ不完全な神となった。
Even the greatest conquerors failed to become true gods. Somewhere along their way, their power makes them complacent. They grew satisfied with what they had already won and abandoned their dream of world conquest.
故に打倒された。
And ultimately, this was their downfall.
俺はそうはな
But
らな
I
い。
shan't succumb as they did.
波動の終端までを踏破する。
See my conquest through to the end?
港光は30億人類すべてと勝負し屈服させ、その事実をもって神座へ至ろう。
I'll vanquish the entire human race in battle, and with the bones of 3 billion as my ladder ascend the throne of heaven.
お前はどうしてもその妄念を捨てられないのか。
Even now, you cling to that foolish dream.
捨てられぬ。いかにも妄念、いかにも愚念。されどこの一年が光の命脈。
Foolish it may be, madness it may be, but this dream is the whole of Hikaru. Doesn't make her a god, just a psychopath? Well, she's not claiming to be a god. And she's only claiming that to actually be a god would be to perform something godlike, right? If the Emperor of China claims to be a god or a being that exists by divine mandate because he rules all of China, then it would only make sense that if you wanted to be a god, you would similarly have to conquer all of China. Except people have done that all over the world, so to actually be a god, because those are all clearly false gods, you have to just do all the things all the people who think gods do. It kind of works. She is a psychopath, but she's not like, her logic doesn't work. Her logic does work. Her logic does sort of work. It's like, okay, lots of people aspire to godhood as a result of their conquests. Therefore, you need to conquer to become a god, and simply possessing power is meaningless. Does it make the person who does it a god? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying for Hikaru, maybe. Hikaru says if I possess the personal power to do these things, that's enough. So maybe if you have the ability to do that yourself and you do it, you're a god. If you claim you can do it but don't actually execute, you may not be a god. If the idea is the ruler of everything everywhere is God, and that's... If the idea is the ruler of everything everywhere is either directly appointed by God or is a god themselves, and basically the only reason they don't actually rule everything is because it wasn't practical, then surely a real god would actually have everywhere. Right, that kind of works. It kind of follows. I know she has more motivations, but that does make sense. So foolish it may be, madness it may be. I mean, she does admit it might make her sound crazy. But this dream is the whole of Hikaru.
まずは舞台を整えよう。今、光に宿るこのたわけた力。天下万民と分かち合うにも十分だ。
As luck would have it, there's enough of this ridiculous power to share with the rest of humanity.
何よ。
光は一心の願いから全人類の廃止を求む。ならば、諸人は光の意志に抗い拒絶するための脳を持たなくてはなるまい。 でなくては不公正。
My dream compels me to eradicate all life, but can I truly claim to have conquered the world if its defenders hardly put up a fight? Nay.
故に授ける。武の一方、殺伐争奪の力と心を。
I'll give them what they lack. I'll show them the way, the glory of slaughter, that all may have the strength and will to resist me.
天下不武。今ここに港光が発令した。
Let might's law rule the earth. I, Minato Hikaru, command it! From her raised right hand leaps a bolt of golden light, a lance piercing the sky's dark heart, and all around that shining wound the clouds begin to roil. In the blink of an eye, the sky is transformed from a still lake to a wind-tossed sea. Dark, angry masses swirl with about a central eye. It reminds me of a hurricane, but in green.
俺は
Is that... Ooh, I like that CG. Not bad, not bad. The pose is on point. Coloring's pretty good too. Yeah, it's nice.
汚染波の塊よ。とてつもない濃度の。
Mental pollution more powerful than ever
あ
before.
んなのを浴びたらきっと鋼鉄でも防げない。
Even Tsurugi armor won't keep that out. Waves that can drive even Musha to madness.
しかも
Not all, there's something more.
それだけじゃない。
Man, I'm feeling sorry for Japan. This country's getting fucked. Because that radiates in an AoE usually. Europe gonna be fine. Japan, East Asia, oh boy. There's something more.
そうともくも。これは武の嵐
Oh
だ。
yeah, Spider. Something more indeed. This storm is a storm of might.
白銀の雨風を地上に注いで回り、人々に武の力と魂を与え、
This
この
silver
光と
rain,
同等の武人に仕上げる。
this silver rain will drench the earth and bestow upon every man, woman, and child the strength and soul of a true warrior, might enough to rival my own. What? Yeah, Hikaru actually just being like, I'm gonna make everyone as strong as me because I'm the strongest on the planet. Seems good. Seems good. She ain't bitching out on this. She's like, I want a fucking brawl and I'm gonna get it if I have to make everyone a fucking... If I have to make everyone have superpowers, I'll do it.
これで人類は心身ともに完全武装。この中で勝ち抜いてこそ神たる武人。
Of warriors fell in body and spirit. Only by conquering this domain can one prove herself a god. Wait, what did she say? No. Does she mean to loose that madness everywhere at once? To transform the entire human race into murderous beasts, armed with the might of Ginsego? But what will that do to the world? How will anything survive? We've already been through this before. Hikaru doesn't intend for anyone to survive. She only wants one person left alive in the world, and that's her, the strongest. Even now, I spy not a flicker of doubt in Hikaru, no gap through which a word might slip to turn her from this course. It truly means to end the world, to slaughter every last human being after granting them a piece of divine power. The storm grows, splitting off copies of itself, each boiling with its own vast energy.
ロシア、
Russia!
韓、
On?
欧州、中東、
Europe? Arabia?
新大陸、暗黒大陸、
The Dark Continent?
ヤマト。
Yamato? With each command, a child storm goes howling off across the sky. The most loyal of servants, the most faithful of generals. They go to do their master's bidding, to impose her will upon the earth.
村正
Muramasa.
あれが全世界を汚染するのに
How
ど
long
の
before
程
the
度の
whole
時間が
world's
必要かわかる
infected?
か
多分1時間とは。
An hour at most? Those are some fast clouds, damn. Remember, the clouds have to travel from the middle of Japan all the way to Europe? That's a fast flight.
およそ45分だろう。
More like 45 minutes. She gave us a clock. Very nice. Her hand lowered, Hikaru turns to face me once more. Her tone casual and matter of fact. I suppose she would know.
止める方法は
Is there any way to stop it?
元を絶つ。
Destroy the source.
あの嵐は独立してない。発生源と繋がったままだから。
Storms still draw their power from her. The source. Destroy Ginsego and the storms will disperse. Why would you even make that as part of your plan? My duty couldn't be more pressing, more clear. Not that there was ever truly a question. I must kill Hikaru right here, right now. There isn't a moment to lose. Question, if it's 45 minutes for the whole world, would that not mean that likely the places that are most likely to survive are like parts of the New World and or Europe that are the furthest away from you? Actually, no, more precisely, probably South America, like Brazil is the furthest away, right? That's probably right. That's the place they'll be hitting 45 minutes. Japan should be fucked completely. Since he sent them after Han, which is presumably China, I assume both those places will be gone in like 15 minutes. And it's 45 minutes for the rest of the world. Because they have to reach the far corners. Alright, there isn't a moment to lose. Good luck. Waste no more breath seeking answers. Kageaki, every thought is a moment lost. Every word a breath spent in vain. Time and breath are precious. Use them drawing your sword and strike. Your understanding is she opened portals to create storms when she called the nations? Okay. Portals creating storms elsewhere, in which case they would spread from those designated locations, so... Yeah, that's a lot of dead people already. Like, 1 second. Because you can't turn people back from the crazy, right? Even if they leave the range of the, madness aura, they're still crazy. Answer me, Hikaru.
Hikaru!
What do you want?
そこまでのことをなし
What do you hope to gain from this?
よい。幾度でも答えてやる。お前が問いを重ねるなら、光も同じだけ変わらぬ決意を叫ぼう。
My answer isn't changing, Kageaki, no matter how many times you ask. But so be it. Each time you question my way, I will answer with the same unflinching resolve, the same untrammeled cry of my soul.
父よ!
My father!
光の望みはただ一つ。
I desire one thing,
我
and
が
one thing
父
only.
を返せ!
Give me my father. With heat enough to fuel a star, Hikaru speaks the dream that made her.
俺をこの世に生み落とした根源を、父の愛を確かめたい。
I will know the love that bore me into this world.
そのために光は母を滅ぼし、世界を滅ぼす。父を奪い束縛するすべてを滅ぼす。そのために光は神となる。人の道に許されぬ父の奪回を真剣によって成し遂げる。
For ruin. To shatter the chains that would keep us apart, I'll lay waste to humanity, ascend to godhood, and by divine right claim what's mine. This then is Hikaru's way, to find a single pearl lost to the sea, boil away the water in all the oceans of the earth. Yup.
なぜ
Why?
と問うか。
Why do I desire him so?
それが奪われているからだ。
Because he was stolen from me. You're not her father. She's not your daughter. You must never love her.
俺は覚えている。母が父に告げた強奪の言葉を。
I remember the moment
そ
of my
の
birth.
瞬間を
The words
魂
mother
にかけ
spoke
て記憶している。
as she severed our bond are graven upon my soul.
だから取り戻さずにはいられない。
I must take him back. In her voice, I hear what this is. Not merely a desire, but a primal command. He's missing what she needs to live, it says. Same as if her heart was torn from her chest and flung into the blackest abyss. How can she not dive after it? I mean, you can say she's crazy, but I appreciate someone whose strategy to find a pearl at the bottom of the ocean is to boil all the water on Earth to find it. That's an interesting character, at least. Never a boring time with Hikaru. But your father.
父はお前の
Your father?
父は影明ここへ参れ
Yeah, come here.
貴様には何の恨みもない。かような真似を命じるのが心苦しくもある。だが今となってはこの愚か者に拾われた運命を嘆いてもらうよりないわ。
Bear you no ill will, boy, but it pains me greatly to order you to do this, but given the severity of the situation, I'm afraid your only option is to accept it and curse whatever fate decreed you be adopted by such a fool.
貴様が事の決着をつけよ。
Just answer for his failure.
いないのだ。
Your father's gone, Hikaru.
この世のどこにも
He no longer exists in this world.
お前の父は父たることを捨てた。捨てるよう命じられ、
Your father forsook his claim to the title, so he was commanded and so he obeyed. And yes, literally 100% of this story is the fault of that old fuck we just saw 2 seconds ago.
知っているのだろ
You know this already, don't you?
知っている。
I've always known.
だから諦めていた。
That's why Hikaru never sought
表
satisfaction.
の港光は
She accepts her lot on the surface.
しかしその陰で俺を育てた。それでも父に愛されたいという希望を。
Yet deep down, she clung to the hope that one day her father would love her, and that hope birthed a dream.
俺という一つの夢を。
That dream is me. There's no sorrow in her voice, only pride. She's a shadow from the depths of Hikaru's subconscious. No more real than the visions one sees before waking, but strong enough to touch the world and strong enough to shatter it. And why not? Why not?
お前は
Hikaru. What, you don't like Hikaru?
人の世に押し隠された父なら人の世をひっくり返してやれば出
The
てく
world
るやも
hides
し
many
れんだ
things,
ろ
no? Perhaps he'll fall out if I shake it hard enough. Hikaru laughs, amused by the image, and I can only wait in silence for her mirth to subside. I mean, you'd think the easiest solution in the world would be to just be like, wait, so the fate of the world might hang in the balance because I decided to write off my daughter because my stupid fucking father told me to? Man, I'm gonna tell that guy to fucking shove it next time. You'd think that would be like the first thing anyone does. Is goes up to their father and like, Jesus, and be like, Jesus, fuck, what's wrong with you, man? But no. No, they're all like, well, Gramps ordered it, so I guess we're gonna do this because LOL. Family commands in Japan. Don't worry, they won't learn. No, don't worry, nobody's learning any lessons today. All we can do is sympathize with Hikaru for her father and grandfather, as well as Kageaki being absolute potatoes. It's not all like that. That's what it seems like. That's 100% what it is.
影明よ
Kageaki. And what do you do if you want to? What do you do if you want to change how society views something? Well, I guess you can destroy it. That works. Does there need to be a replacement? No, people don't care about that. People in real life aim to do that. All the time. All you have to do is say, this thing is bad, or this thing can change because it's a social construct and I don't like it. You don't need to implement a replacement or understand why it exists. You just need to destroy it if you don't like it. Just like if there's something you don't like, it's caricature to the extreme here. Yeah? I mean, it's anime. I kind of expect everyone to be a caricature or in some way. Like all the major characters in this story, including Ichijo, Otori, Ichijo and Otori, as well as what's her face? Chachamaru. All a little bit caricatured. They're a little too crazy to be real. But I mean, that's fun. And it's fine to have like people who are just too obviously real, because that way you can't miss what they're supposed to be. Sure, it's not very subtle, but no one can say that you're gonna miss it, right? Like, this character's too on the nose, but hey, you can't miss it. There's less ambiguity there when you're asking, like, what this person represents if they literally wear all their emotions and opinions on their sleeve. You wonder if her father wasn't on that boat before? Who knows? Hikaru. She speaks my name softly, a gentle probing gesture. I move on quickly to the next question.
ならお前は 父親が戻り、お前を娘と認めさ
I
えす
think
れ
it
ば、
was maybe it was another
それ
route
で
we went
満
through
足
this
するのか。
before. This seems so familiar. You get what you want. If your father accepts you, will it be enough?
世界の破壊を思いとどまるか。
Will you end this madness?
その問いも
This
以
too
前に
you've asked
答
me
えたな。
before. He asked her this in the ruins of the temple we last encountered her in, I swear.
光が欲しいのは生贄の肉ではない。
What I desire is truth, not
真
appeasement,
実の心。
not an offering.
父は社会と秩序を重んじ、それゆえに光を娘と認めてくださらなかった。
The world means a great deal to my father.
だからこ
Perhaps
そ、
he'd forswear his oath
現
and
世
grant my
界を
wish
守るためとあらば、
if it
光
would
の
save
願いを聞くやもしれん。
if it would save the people for whom he cares so deeply.
しかし、それではダメなのだ。
It only proves how much he loves
真
them.
実がない。
There's no truth in
形
that.
ばかりの
Not
偽
for me.
物に過ぎない。真実を得るには、父が尊ぶもの。我が母スバルを、今の人間社会を、
Come to know the
す
truth
べ
that
て
I must
滅ぼ
first
し尽くした上で問うの
destroy
み。
all he values, as I did my mother, and as I do now the world. Then, once nothing else remains, I'll stand before my father and ask,
これでも光を愛してくれるかと。9割が憎しみでも構わない。9割区分でも。残りの一部、
shall I ask, do
ほ
you
んの
love me?
少しだけ、
Even after all I've done?
ひとかけらだけ。肉親の愛情を示してくれるなら、
He might profess to loathe me with all he has, but no matter. If in the deepest part of his soul, if there's even a flicker of love for his own flesh and
そ
blood,
れでいい。
that'll be enough.
それで俺は満ち
Then
た
I'll be complete. A soft blush rises to her cheeks, and she breathes a dreaming sigh. How did it come to this? Where was the point of no return? A tangled web of cause and effect, threads twined too deeply to know where one begins or ends. Perhaps there's still a chance for reconciliation if I find the knots, loosen them gently, unwind the threads one by one. Perhaps in the end the truth will lie bare. I mean, given that her mother doesn't offer a sufficiently good explanation and it's only dumb societal rules that separate Hikaru from her father, and her mother's the one who instigated it, and she's literally like, her first memory is when she's literally like 1 day old and her mom's like, I've decided you're not gonna have a father, get fucked. I'd be pretty pissed too. What her father do hasn't been clearly explained. It has not been clearly explained exactly what her father did. The thing is, Subaru doesn't hate Subaru. Her mother doesn't actually hate her father. It's their grandfather's order, and their grandfather's a colossal douchebag. As every interaction we've had with him as Kagieki, the main character, has been incredibly toxic. The guy's a fucking tool. And let me explain this. Someone is literally dying. All he has to do is say, yes, you can go get a doctor, okay? All he has to do is say, yes, you can get a doctor, because guess what? The guy, for some reason, has the authority of whether or not people can get doctors in his family, okay? The guy says no, and Kagieki has to wait like 2 years? 2 years before bandits are raiding their town? Before the guy will conditionally say, yes, you can get the fucking doctor you want for Hikaru. Okay? Like, this is how shitty their family is. You can totally see why she hates she hates certain people in her family. And doesn't fucking trust half the people. I can see some of that, because that's what the guy says conditionally. He says, yeah, you can get the doctor, but you have to drive out all the bandits single-handedly today without killing a single person. So, you have, like, armed mercenaries. Actually, they were rebels. There are rebels who abandoned their cause and are holding down the whole town. Yeah, seriously? Yes, that's actually what happened. I'm not even exaggerating. He literally said, if you drive them all out of town today, if you drive them all out of town today, you can do it and you can't kill anyone. And it's like, well, his mom told him he can't kill anyone. But he's like, obviously he wouldn't kill anyone because that would be wrong. Did he die in the attack at least? We don't have confirmation that he's actually dead, but presumably Hikaru killed him. Later, because Kageaki actually managed to get a deal with the bandits, except the bandit leader then killed the current leader and took over and raided the town. Again, leading to Hikaru putting on the silver armor. And she just decided to go kill everyone in town. She killed everyone, by the way. All the regular people and the bandits too. Because that's how Ginsego works. Yes, you can for that guy, actually going and killing him, I can totally see how Hikaru wants at least one person dead. And doesn't trust her family, because her father and mother are both unironically perfectly okay with letting her suffer in agony for literal years instead of getting her a fucking doctor because of family honor. So when she's like, I literally have to kill everyone on the planet so he doesn't have any other loyalties to actually tell if he cares about me, I can see that. I can actually see that. He must have been smoking something good. Yeah, maybe. It's an interesting story. I like a lot of the characters in this. They're fun. They're not exactly great people, but everyone's kind of interesting. Like, there's lots of people in this story. You can kind of just be like, man, this guy's not great. It's like, this person's fucking crazy. This person's kind of evil, but they're fun. They're fun, right? Like, the thing about a story is, right, the story is either supposed to make you think or be interesting, okay? You know, and this one's definitely hitting the interesting side while not being boring. Because you can have a good premise, but if its execution sucks, it's gonna suck no matter what, right? Plenty of stories start with a good hook, and then they don't go anywhere because the person can't write to save their lives. This one? Yeah, I mean, guy who wears power armor in the 1940s fighting other power armored warriors, and every time he kills someone, he has to kill a random innocent person. Guy's a massive hypocrite. The guy does nothing but whine about how he kills people, but continues killing people. It's great. You're not supposed to, like, really love him, but, you know, you're supposed to be like, oh, this guy's a cool character. Great. Like, you sit down and you're like, man, I could read this story. Do I think I'd want to be friends with most of the people here? Probably not. They're all pretty far on most of the women are pretty far along on the hot crazy axis. Well into the danger zone. Hikaru, definitely danger. Chachimaru, yup. Otori, yup. Ayane, yup. Your spider, yup. Because, yeah, it's like Persona 5, the people make no sense there too. I feel like the people here have, like, their own internal logic, which is kind of nice. So, sure, the people, like, have very, very extreme opinions on things. So, for example, Ayane Ichigo's obsessed with justice and her own sense of justice. And she's, like, 500% obsessed with this. Or Otori's obsessed with vengeance and things like that's what should drive everybody. And she's 100% obsessed with that and okay with that. As long as those people are, like, those are crazy things, and a lot of people would probably say, hey, there's exceptions to a lot of these things. Like, there should be exceptions to like, your absolute justice concept, because it'll never work. You know, it just doesn't lead anywhere. Same with your vengeance, you know, someone kills someone, so you kill them to avenge their death, and then, like, it just never ends. Endless cycles of vengeance, and, like, the characters goes, yeah, that's probably true, don't care. Like, in real life, you'd probably be like, there should be, like, a real person would kind of have, like, more depth than this black and white stuff, but the fact is, the characters are written fairly consistently and with, like, practicality in mind. So they're like, yeah, that's the way I live, but, you know, if it's not practical, I'm not gonna do that for now. So I kind of like reading this, because even though their opinion is like an idea taken to its limit, they're consistent with that, which makes the characters make sense once you understand them. At least that's my perspective, which is why I think it's good, right? It's like, yeah, sure, maybe these people aren't necessarily like the most realistic people, but they operate on their own logic that is realistic. It's like, you know, you read a story with magic, and it's important that even though magic isn't real, it's important that the magic system is consistent, because then you feel like the story could be real. And that's where I feel like we are in this. It's like, yeah, I'd like, do I think all of the people are great people? Dude, nope, I'm just here for this story. It's a fun story. The characters seem to follow, like, mostly their own internal logic. And it kind of makes sense. I mean, I had some, like, issues with, like, the first route. But I think, like, I worked some of them out. And with a little bit more reading, it makes a bit more sense. Also took a bit more thinking than I was expecting it to. But, hey, I come here and I'm like, hey, this is pretty good. I'm not, like, super mad at anybody. I mean, sure, there's people who are bad. There's, like, some pretty horrible people here, and I'm just like, okay, you do your thing. That's a little bit edgy, but alright. As long as most of what you're doing follows your own logic, I'm good. I'm here for the consistent story. The interesting one. And it's carried through on its pitch pretty well, too. I don't think I've read, like, an arc or something where I was like, damn, this pitch sucks. Even, like, the boring parts of the story can be entertaining, because I think they wrote, like, Hikaru and Chachamaru really entertainingly. Same with Otori. They're all really fun to be around in, like, random dialogue scenes. Like, we're talking to Hikaru right here, and you're like, Jesus, this lady's crazy. You know when she's talking normally and she's not talking about how she wants to kill everyone, she's still just as crazy? It's fantastic. Like, we'll go back to the metaphor they used earlier, but, like, she's the person who's, like, doesn't believe in the impossible. She's just like, you clearly didn't try hard enough. Just go do it. Yeah, sometimes edgy's a read, but the MC's kind of annoying about her. Yeah, a little bit. I like all the other characters. Kageyaki, yeah, he's fine. He kind of works in the setting. He's fine. He kind of works in the setting. Like I said, I like a lot of the female characters here. They're like crazy enough to always be entertaining. Gachamaru's fantastic at that too. Otori is just like continuously pretending to be like some ditzy lady, but she's not actually. She's just doing it because she thinks it's cute or it'll put people off guard. It's great. The endings sometimes we turn. I mean, the Chachamaru one did lose some momentum. Yeah. The Chachamaru one was weird because it just ended fast. But that was only like a couple scenes. We did lose a little momentum in the Otori route after the big showdown. But I thought that was okay still. Like, I enjoyed the whole route. How was the Ichijo one? Ichijo one had good flow. But the dialogue was confusing at the time I read it. At least for doing it, like, live. I mean, I've had a good time with all the endings, for the most part. Even this one's pretty good, even as weird as, like, fighting giant golden god chapter 1 guy was. And the random-ass time travel stuff. I don't think we've actually lost our momentum for this ending. If anything, it's kind of nice we got to Hikaru 1v1. This is one of the better ones. Yeah, it's definitely good. So perhaps there is still a chance for reconciliation. If I find the knots, loosen them gently, and unwind the threads one by one, perhaps in the end the truth will lie bare. Yes. The deep tangled web of cause and effect with threads twined too tightly to know where one begins or ends. But that would take time. The world has no time, and that only leaves me with one choice. To cut the knots, to tear free the threads, break the web while there's still hope of escape. It's the only way.
そうか。
Hi, Hikaru.
影明
Kageyaki.
ならば光る。
That's your one.
お前に父など与えない。
And you'll never have your father.
ここで。
I'll kill you here. A frigid chill drives back the volcano's heat, not a gust of winter air, but the icy will of a human heart. We're seconds before the violence explodes. We get another fight. Our final fight, possibly, between Ginsego and Kageaki. But I don't think we're going to see it tonight.